Hi guys, Scott Speed here, welcoming you to the Volkswagen Beetle GRC car here in iRacing. It is so fun. Wanted to give you guys some pointers around the track here. This is the actual track that we drove in Daytona. It looks unbelievable. When you see the footage from the onboard of the actual track, it's crazy how similar they got it. Give you some tips on the car. First thing you're gonna notice is this thing is a 2-liter turbo engine that has over 600 horsepower. And it is geared for acceleration. So you're gonna go through the gearbox very quickly. That's the first thing you know. As soon as you leave the pits, you're gonna be like, wow. You're just gonna have to upshift gears very rapidly. And then you're gonna get on the brakes for the first time and you're gonna notice this big momentum shift as the car is gonna lean over, it's gonna have a ton of weight transfer, and that's because we run really soft springs in this thing to get the traction that you're gonna need in the dirt. Once you get through the first corner, you're probably going to realize that as soon as you touch the throttle, it doesn't really want to turn anymore. You've got to be aware that four-wheel drive likes to stop very quickly and it likes to go very quickly. It doesn't like the corner so much. To the first corner, you definitely want to wait until you're kind of straight to get on the gas, and that'll bring you up to the really fun section. And you get to experience dirt in a four-wheel drive rally car for the first time, and it's incredible. The thing you're going to notice is that the car wants to just continue going in whatever direction it started in. So when you approach these corners, you're really going to have to turn quite before the corner, very early, and the car is going to develop this momentum to it. It's still very important to hit the apexes and to be very tidy and clean, but you're going to have to do that with the momentum of the car. And then you got this nice jump that is really fun. One thing to keep in mind when you're in the air is if you hit the brakes, the front end will come down. If you hit the gas, the front end will come up a little bit. So you got to control, kind of like an airplane, the pitch of the car in the air so you're kind of flying straight. And as soon as you land here, you're going to want to start heading left. You're going to give it a big input and start it sliding to the left. And you're just going to be constantly trying to slow this thing down to make this corner, because it's very, very slippery and it's a very tight corner. And the preferred line, believe it or not, is still going to be right here at the apex. Once you get out of here, the next couple corners are relatively simple, typical tarmac corners. Not a lot to these stuff. This is all flat out. And yeah, let's see what a full lap looks like.
Good evening and welcome to the first round of Friday Night Dirt Night here on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive. Randy Chenowth and Hugo Louis bringing you all the action, and what a night it is going to be. Last 3 seasons on the iRacing service, we've been bringing you a lot of coverage here from the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. That's been a regular on our Monday nights, but with some new features, new content, we are expanding. We are adding World of the Red Bull Racing Global Rallycross, as well as the World of Outlaws late models, and then wrapping things up with the World of Outlaws 410 winged sprint cars. So kicking it off, as I just said, the new big partner on the iRacing service, the Red Bull Global Rallycross Series. Got 2 cars that have been added in. The Ford Fiesta, driven by the likes of Austin Dine and Steve Arpin, as well as that Volkswagen Beetle, driven by the likes of Scott Speed and Tanner Fowl, both champions in the Real World Series, of course. And what a grid it is we have here today. A lot of people very questionable about due to the newness of this form of racing. Not only new cars, but a whole new form of racing added to the service. But we have a who's who of names here, including iRacing champions, iRacing World Championship drivers, and even a real-world global rallycross driver in Mr. Mitchell DeJong. Qualifying is currently underway to set our heats. Heat racing, of course, another big thing that's been involved, and a driver we have to look there on their current qualifying times. Actually, he's already done his timed laps. Mr. Mitchell DeJong, who is up by a full half a second over the rest of the field. Mitchell at a 40.5, and everyone else, Cam, down into the 41.
Yeah, no surprises there at all. You know, when, as it turns out, you actually drive the tracks in real life, the cars in real life, and that type of atmosphere in real life, you get to go faster. And it's no surprise because obviously Mitchell is a very fast driver in the iRacing service. It's going to look pretty good here. The times between the Beetles and the Fords have been surprisingly close. Haven't noticed any real differences in lap times between the two cars, and that makes it even all the more better.
I was actually talking with Mr. Mitchell DeJong last night. Of course, Real World Driver drives the Honda Civic, sponsored by Red Bull, and he pretty much said the same thing. He's tested and driven both the cars on the service, and he says they drive differently, but they both essentially get the same lap, but both the same way. Bobby Zelensky's currently on track, but his laps are currently scored complete. Let's see if we have any drivers who are currently on a lap here. Before we went live, one of the adverts we shown was with Mr. Scott Speed, and he took you around the short course. That was an actual real-world layout that they used in this championship when they ran here at Daytona. This, however, is somewhat of a fictional one, bit of a longer version instead of tough. First of all, the entire first sector is a little bit elongated. The left-hander after the jump, followed by the right-hander, that little chicane a little bit tighter, and you have much more dirt on the runoff. You don't transition to asphalt nearly as quickly, and then you don't shortcut on the right-hander until you actually reach basically the oval near where the pit lane would run off, going down in towards NASCAR 1 and 2. So elongated there. You have a sharp 180-degree hairpin that transitions into gravel. That's very, very difficult. And that's, I think, to me, Cam, probably the most difficult section on the track. It looks very simple, just a quick 180 and being able to power through. But able to do that efficiently, you lose or gain an immense amount of time.
Yeah, and also, a little bit of a thing. Yes, it is technically, I would have to say, a fictional layout, but really, that's nice about the GRCs. You get to change all the different formats. So you get to change the track, you get to build up the track as you like and please, and that makes me very excited as far as tracks for the future. But yes, this Daytona layout, I'm not necessarily the most fondest of as a driver, but as a commentator, this should be fun. It's always entertaining, and got to remember the start-finish line after the first international horseshoe.
Of course, one of the big things of Rallycross you have to talk about will be when drivers decide to opt for those Joker laps. The Joker is the same from the real world layout. Qualifying scored complete. Odds go into heat number 1. Evens go into heat number 2. Let's go down your starting grid here for heat number 1. Mitchell DeJong, as we said, on pole by 0.4 of a second. He will be starting alongside Renz Broekman as well as Logan Clampitt. Those three, first, third, and fifth. Starting behind them will be Mathieu Prudhomme, followed by Iver Kalmausis, Jimmy Mullis, and Paul Ilbrink. 7 cars make up each of the heat races here on the iRacing service. 4 advance to the feature. The other 3 who do not transfer, though, their nights will not be done quite yet. They will go to the consolation, or if you're from the United States, you may be a little bit more familiar with the term B-Main. Top 2 finishers in the B-Main, which will be a 6-lap event, they will transfer to the 10-lap feature at the end of this session. 6 cars currently find themselves out there on the grid, waiting for that 7th to end up coming onto the grid, and then we'll be set for racing here for the very first time in the iRacingLive and RaceSpot TV Friday night dirt nights. 2 teammates, going to be interesting to watch. Rounding out the front of this first heat, Renz Broekman as well as Mitchell DeJong, both from VRS Cohen and Simsport. But all cars on the grid, revs begin to build. Who will take the whole shot into the International Horseshoe for the first time? We are green in the Red Bull Global Rallycross Series, and it's a good start amongst your front 3. Backed all 7, very clean into the first hairpin for the first time. Through that final corner and across start finish straight. The Joker's on your right, cannot take it until going across the start-finish line once. 3 wide they were into that chicane the first time through. Everyone's clean up and over the jump here on lap number 1.
Yeah, good start already. That's exactly what we want to see, the battle between the pair of Fords and the 3 Volkswagen Beetles. Everyone going over that ramp for the very first time, which is always a dangerous proposition, I would have to say, at the start. And thankfully, everything seems to be going fairly well here at the start for Dirt Night.
Good clean breakaway for Mitchell de Jong, and he will take the Joker early. That's something you will commonly see if you're leading these races. One of the big points in global rallycross is getting clean air when you can take it. And when you're leading, you want to take that Joker early. In global rallycross, it is a shortcut. So if you're running first, if you do not take that Joker early, someone behind you does, it is potential that they can get jumpy you, and then, well, you end up potentially getting held up by that driver. Lap time delta here for that Joker lap. Shaves roughly 2 seconds or so off of your lap time. So that's the margin, Cam, that people need to be within if they're looking to jump people with the Joker. That's something else you need to do as well. A lot of acting happening as they go through that dirty hairpin down the back. Paul Ibrink and Logan Clampett, they're fighting as they come down now into the International Horseshoe, and Clampett, he's going to take his Joker here on lap number 2.
Yeah, and surprisingly, he comes out still behind Rendsbrook and Mitchell de Jong. Actually, that's Matthew Crowholm, as Logan Clampett, actually, he'll come out behind Ivar Calamese. And it's interesting, Clampett, he's all over the rear end, is Calamese. He'll actually nip one of those tire barriers. Those tire barriers are immobile for the record, so just in case somebody makes contact with them, they can certainly put that into the racing line. And obviously, things only get more interesting from there as we go past our boom camera operator for the 3rd time. This little switch back left and right. I gotta say, kind of surprised. Red's broken. He's hanging in with Mitchell de Jong.
Just sort of running calm. This is also one of those races where if you're Mitchell de Jong, you've pretty much got a good lead. You have a teammate behind you. You don't want to push too hard. Just want to safely transfer into that next event. Now, one of the big things we have to talk about in these heat races are what we are going to, let's say, kindly refer to as the bubble boys. Right now, that bubble belongs to Ivar Kalmaus's, but we got some drama behind him. Jimmy Mullis, he finds himself in his Ford Fiesta in the wall, so he will be having to run his way through the consolation race to get himself into the feature tonight. But Logan Clampett, he sits right behind Ivar Kalmaus's here in this first heat. Keep in mind, Logan has already used that Joker shortcut of the International Horseshoe. That car running in 4th place, Ivar has not. So I think if you're Ivar right now, Cam, you don't get too nervous about the fact that you have that Red Bull car behind you. In fact, if you're Kalmaus's, the driver you shouldn't be worried about isn't him at all. It's Paul Ilbrink 2 cars behind. Because even though there's a bit of time there, that car behind has not jokered as well.
Yeah, and Logan Clampett, he is all over the rear end of Ivar Calamese. He wants to get that final position. They'll make contact once again, coming off through the dirt section, where they take the quick left and the quick right, going on to the fellow dirt section under the boom camera. So Logan Clampett, he's pushed himself up that one final position. It looks to me like he might come in fourth.
Mitchell's going to come across and win heat number 1. And Logan Clampett gets caught up in an incident. He's going to end up, or actually take that back, that's Ivar. He ends up facing the wrong way round. So Logan Clampett, he's going to go through the Horseshoe. Ilbrink, he comes through on the Joker, and he is going to transfer into the main event here at the end of heat number 1. So a bit of drama there. And Rallycross, we know it's a very, very physical form of motorsport. Shoulder bumping comes out early. Ivar not going to be very happy with that. Not going to have the greatest of starting positions in that consolation race here after heat number 2. Now, we should just be about 30 some odd seconds before we get these cars in heat number 1 off the racetrack and begin the gridding for heat number 2. So let's go down your starting grid for that. Tom Eric Voll, your 2nd place qualifier tonight. He will be starting on the inside here. Stylen Chepavelski will be starting P number 2, and Josh Rogers, you'll find him on the outside of that front row. Casey Kerwin starting in the 4th spot. Joe Letterello will round out 5th, and Bobby Zelensky will roll off in 6th. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now. These are drivers who, if you've been paying attention, started and qualified in the even numbers. So 2, 4, 6, etc., etc. They make up this one. Pretty much same rules apply. 5 laps, you must Joker once. Top 4 transfer to that B main. Grid is set. Tom Eric Voll moved a little bit. Wonder if he's going to get tagged with that. There is a penalty associated with jumping the start, of course. Let's build, and we're green again here in heat number 2. Casey Kerwin gets a great start, and they're going to be a lot more stacked up as they go into turn number 1 here than our last heat. Joshua Rogers on the outside, trying to fight, but Chip Pavelski in the middle gets a little bit bump and bang. They're going to be 3x3 into the chicane and the run up into the jump for the first time. Little bit of bumping and banging, but everyone's facing the wrong way, and everyone's up and over the jump relatively clean. Chip Pavelski loses a couple spots, but everyone survives. Letterella, though, gets into the back of him.
Yeah, Rogers takes a really healthy bite out of one of those tire barriers as well, giving him some front end damage. Hopefully that won't affect the steering at all. I'll take that quick right-hander there. A couple of them giving it a tap of the emergency brake. And Tom Eric Vall, he is checked out over Joshua Rogers and Casey Kerwin.
Expect him, Tom Eric Vall, to come down the Joker here, and indeed he does. Next in line behind him is going to be Josh Rogers as well as Casey Kerwin, but they're still all close side by side. In the back are Bobby Zielinski and Joe Letterello. Letterello takes that spot away as that Volkswagen goes up and over the tabletop and in towards this tight sector that separates the jump. But he tags the tires on the left. Cam mentioned the fact those are movable. He got into them and he moved himself now to that 6th spot. So Bobby Zielinski likely going to be very, very happy about that, as the likes of Casey Kerwin is trying to chase down Josh Rogers, all the while Tom Eric Vall continuing to run away.
Yeah, tons of Ford in this heat for some reason. I'm not sure if they wanted to band all of the Fords together. Pretty sure it's all Fords minus Joe Letterello. Oh, interesting to see indeed. But either way, it looks to me like Tom Eric Vall is comfortable with his Ford, and it's the jump square every single time. Nobody going really that crazy, and trying to land that jump, Randy, is actually fairly interesting. It's a good little dance between the throttle and the brake and the run up to the jump, and trying to keep that car level, because you can almost certainly do massive suspension damage if you hit that jump wrong.
It is one of the trickier jumps to actually hit in this sim of all the Rallycross layouts we have. To me, the most difficult ones are the 2 Daytona ones as well as the Phoenix. Just the way you come off the corner that precedes them, you basically get thrown to the outside. If you don't hit it square, you can, as Cam said, end up landing somewhat awkward. Dylan Chevelsky, he's going to joker and go side by side with Casey Kerwin. So very, very close moment for those two. Bobby Zielinski behind has not yet jokered. I think this is going to be a good move for them. Stylon is going to be really unfortunate the time he joker came. When we talked about that at the top of the show, knowing when to take your joker lap, even though it's such a short race, strategy heavily involved, because he just took it and he comes out fighting with traffic.
Yeah, and it's not over yet as Stylon Chepevetsky, he's really to hustle and bustle here. He seems to be having a better run through the quick chicane, the run up to the International Horseshoe number 1. He's just getting his front bumper in. He's ready to rock and roll. At number 7 Ford looking to take a bite out of that Dead Zone Racing number 2 Ford.
White flag waves, and Josh Rogers has reeled in race leader Tom Eric Vall, and this is important because Eric has jokered. Josh Rogers has also jokered as well, so he has to do it the hard way around somehow, some way. How much will that TTL driver push for the win here in heat number 2, or will he just be calm, cool, and collected and accept the transfer down to the final corner? They will come hard on the brakes down to 2nd or 3rd gear, and it looks to me like Josh Rogers is going to be content for that 2nd spot. 3rd and 4th, they're pretty much figured out as well, as Bobby Zielinski in 5th. He's actually going to joker. I didn't realize this. He comes through now, and will he pick up a spot? No, he will not. So Bobby Zielinski going to have his hopes ruined for that one. Post-race results of heat number 2 are as follows. Tom Eric Vall wins over Josh Rogers. Very, very closely contested there. 3rd and 4th goes to Casey Kerwin and Stylon Chepevelsky. Those two very close as well. Joe Letterello got an incident because of that, finished 11 seconds off your leader, and Bobby Zielinski will be the first driver there who does not transfer. So, consolation race, getting it set grid right now. Starting grid is as follows. Logan Clampett will be on that inside front row. On the outside will be Bobby Zielinski. So 2 of your championship contenders from your NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series earlier this year, they find themselves door to door here in week number 1 of Friday Night Dirt Night. Ivor Kalmasses, Joe Letterello, and Jimmy Mullis round out the rest of this 5-car field. 2 of them transfer. 2 are going to be happy. 3 are going to be bummed out. We are green flag racing here, and Bobby Zielinski gets a fantastic jump in this 6-lap B main. Through turn number 1, they will come, and Zielinski gets pushed wide. Clampett locks himself up the inside. outside. He looks keen to make that Volkswagen get to the front of the field, and indeed he will do so. Zelensky, though, has a bit of a run up and over the tabletop into now this tight left and right section, and they're going to be single file amongst the top 4.
Everybody getting away clean. Joe Lorello, he actually takes a bite out of the rear of Ivar Calamese as they work their way to the very quick right, that e-brake right as Logan Clampett. Well, he's looking to run away with this one. He's got the jump on the start. I almost thought Bobby Zelensky had it. You know what? I almost think Bobby Zelensky thought he had it too. But now he's got his mirror full of Ivar Calamese.
Logan Clampett's going to joker. Bobby Zelensky does not, and this could be a good move by him. Ivar Kalmasas, he jokers here, and what we're likely going to see from that orange number 6 of Bobby Zelensky is going to try to reel in Ivar, at which point he will then joker. Up and over the jump they come. Bobby, it's important to note, closely followed by Jimmy Mullis and Joe Letterello. So all the drivers who find themselves in this heat continue to run, and they're running strongly and competitively right now. Now at the back end of the track, tight 180-degree hairpin. This is one of those corners that everyone takes a little bit differently, Cam. Handful of drivers, including the likes of Mitchell DeYoung, who quickest in the server, maybe he's going to do it right, not touching the handbrake whatsoever at that hairpin at all. Other people, including myself, they actually like to yank that hairpin, get the car pointed. So in these little Rallycross cars, they all drive differently, and everyone pretty much drives them differently. The 2 drawn cars behind Bobby Zelensky, they take the joker, and now Bobby Zelensky finds himself sandwiched. This is going to hurt that number 6 machine big time.
Yeah, and that was very impressive from Jimmy Mullis. He managed to pull up front as they go door to door, and actually Jimmy Mullis and Joe Letterello, they actually have an incident, and Joe Letterello is around in his Volkswagen as he's going to call his day done. No chance of making that last chance qualifier. Of course, this is the 6th lap run. We're on lap number 3, and I got to say, for Logan Clampett, he's got to be careful because Ivar Calamese, he's dancing easily on that brake going into the International Horseshoe, which is the final corner. As we go underneath that red bold gantry, there's a 41.3 versus a 40.9. Ivar Calamese, he is on it.
Oh, but he makes a mistake up and over the jump. This might bring Bobby Zelensky back into the picture here. He did not joker, but he is now ahead of that car that was in front of him. We said earlier at the top of the show that the delta between the joker and the regular lap is about 2 seconds. So Zelensky's going to be pushing as hard as he can to get within that 2 or so second window. They now run themselves down this long final straightaway coming into the International Horseshoe. How much, though, as the likes of Ivar and Logan going to fight? Because all that you're really sorting out here between first and second is starting on the outside of the final row versus the inside of the final row. So there isn't much to be gained if you think you're going to transfer safely. That said, if you think the likes of Bobby Zelensky is on his way, Cam, you might want to try to make the move if you're Ivar, as we have a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually if Zelensky's close enough. He seems to be getting bad exits at this point now. I'm not sure if perhaps clipping a barrier might have done something to the handling of that car. But his lap times are quick, though. He was the fastest one on the track that last lap. But I'm not sure if he is close enough. He should be coming in down to the joker lap this time. No, he will elect not to, no, he's going to stay out.
This, I think, is a good move from Bobby Zelensky. The reason you don't want a joker as you're coming to the penultimate lap is that joker does somewhat hurt your entry to the chicane he's going through now. White flag waves. If Bobby Zelensky's going to get that gap down, he has to do it right here, right now. Very flamboyant through the left and into the right. Very difficult to get the traction down, but he manages to do so. He has a gap over Jimmy Mullis, and Jimmy, of course, has already jokered, so Bobby shouldn't be looking in the mirror whatsoever. At the top of the racetrack, down through that tight 180-degree right-hander, Bobby Zelensky is going to be peeling off to the right here in just a moment. Has he reeled in enough to jump Ivar Kalmasas? Ivar runs his way through the International Horseshoe, and Bobby's going to come out, and he's going to just get peaked by Ivar, so Ivar's going to transfer Bobby, not quite pushing hard enough. We have our 10-car grid set now, Cam.
Yeah, I have I was going to say, I'm pretty sure something happened to Zelensky on that final lap. I want to look at the lap times, but instead, it's looking like we are going to be set for an extraordinary final.
So that said, 10-car grid as they roll will be starting in first, Mitchell DeJong, followed by Tom Eric Voll and Renz Brookman. That's row number 1. Josh Rogers, Matar Perdome, and Casey Kerwin, they make up row 2. Row 3 will be a 2-car row. That's Paul Ilbring and Stalin Chipovelsky, followed by Logan Clampett and Ivar Kalmasas. So, 10 cars. Some of these guys have been on track together already. Some have not. Mitchell de Jong, fastest in qualifying, dominated his heat. We are green in Red Bull Global Rallycross, the first feature event here on our Friday night dirt night. And Renz Brookman, fantastic start on the outside. He runs door to door with his teammate, but Mitchell's too good down on the inside. That Volkswagen has good power. They're 3 abreast into the chicane, and this time got a little bit more contact, but again, everyone's through clean. One car has to take the side of the jump. That's Ilbrink who collects Ivar. Ivar, heavy contact. His day is done.
His engine has detonated indeed. Paul Ilbrink not going to be happy with that one. Not the showing he wanted to have. Also, I see Chepelowski. He's had an issue with Logan Clampett, but otherwise, for the most part, it looks all right as Mitchell de Jong, he looks to control from Renz Brookman. Brookman couldn't even challenge during the heat race. We'll see what he can do here in the final, but for Joshua Rogers, he is going to take his Joker lap. We'll see where he slots on out. Actually, de Jong and Brookman as well also take their Joker lap, so Joker laps early for the first 3 runners.
Again, that's a good choice by them to get that Joker out of the way. Don't want to get jumped by a back marker who Jokers early if you decide not to. Mitchell de Jong still leads over his teammate of Renz Brookman, and of course Josh Rogers. Close fighting behind between Casey Kerwin and Tom-Eric Bull, but through that last sector things got a little bit spread out. We still have 8 cars running. I believe the closest fight is actually between Logan Clampett and Stylon Chipavelsky. They're currently the last 2 cars on track, and a lot of damage on those 2, Cam. That's going to be hard for them to nurse around, because this race twice as long as the heats and the consolation race they ran earlier. 10 laps as opposed to 5 or 6 as Logan wheeling it into the International Horseshoe.
Yeah, absolutely. As he's trying to get that thing wrapped up and around. He just did a 41.9, which is actually, well, unfortunately the slowest on the track. But for right now, I got to say, the big risk that I have to say, obviously, with having these many laps, as everyone jumps into that quick right as Brookman is now getting swarmed by Joshua Rogers. So it's Volkswagen Ford, is that you increase the risk of making contact with those barriers. Those barriers are not your friend. Shocking, I'm aware. But if you can point your bumper to it, you can just graze them, and that's the great line going through. But the problem is you start racking up that damage. Last thing you want to do is you're off by a couple of inches, and you ruin that suspension. Your day is going to be done. As looks to me like de Jong, he's not really pulling away any more than he was at the start of the race.
That said, running very, very quick lap times as Mitchell de Jong last time through a 40.2. His qualifying time was a 40.7. That's one of the interesting things about this Rallycross feature on the iRacing service. As these cars do laps, it's sort of the inverse from the dirt oval. In the dirt oval, the more and more you run, typically the slower the track will get as it slickens off. Here in Rallycross, the track will get quicker as that dirt gets more and more packed in. That's because it's a different style of dirt. Most oval tracks in North America, they typically run more of a mud or clay style. This, a little bit looser gravel, so as cars run over it, Cam, it gets very, very tightly compact and packed down. That's why the cars get so much quicker.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more safe to control too, but you also start bringing out dust onto the asphalt after the exit, as Mitchell de Jong, he has had a storming lap. He pulls about 1/10 every couple of laps, so he's going to have 5 laps to go. He goes into the International Horseshoe, the final corner. So right now it's de Jong, Brookman, Rogers, and then you've got Kerwin, Eric Ball, and then Prodholm. And I got to say, this is the battle to watch right now from Kerwin, Eric Ball, and Prodholm, because it's 2 Fords and 1 Volkswagen as they go into the gantry, and these are the 3 closest cars on the racetrack.
Casey Kerwin doesn't go over the jump, but he puts the right tires into that grass. That is very slick, and look how wide he is. Tom-Eric Bull, he's going to take this opportunity, and he's going to pick up that spot over Casey Kerwin now. Can Matteo Prodome get through? No, he does not. Into the hairpin, they almost touch yet again as they all transition onto that loose gravel here. Now down this long, I call it a straightaway. It's the straightest section on the racetrack, but you are flat out as you literally thread a needle between those tire barriers and the walls. We are over halfway here. Now starting lap number 7 of 10. What was that, Cam?
Here comes Prodholm. He's taking his Joker lap, and that puts him in front of Tom-Eric Bull. So Tom-Eric Bull, he's worked his way through it as he goes way left on his jump exit. And now, well, he's just cleared Casey Kerwin. He's probably excited. I finally got some clean track, and now he's got a Volkswagen in front of him.
Casey makes a mistake in the back end behind them. He actually tags one of those tire barriers, and he ends up in the wall. He's going to drop a couple of spots. He's going to be door-to-door with Logan Clampett here at the top side of the racetrack. Casey Kerwin will hold on to that spot, though. The Fiesta looking good on the outside versus that tight line for Clampett, and through this entire sector, no real side-by-side racing can happen here. Both, actually, no, I take that back. Logan Clampett has not yet joker, while Casey Kerwin already has, and Kerwin makes another mistake, so Clampett's going to pick up another spot.
I'm thinking there might be some steering damage on that number 2 machine, so Casey Kerwin not going to be happy with that. It's obviously not halting the lap from happening, but it just is just enough that he can't really keep on par with cars that aren't damaged right now, though. Tom Eric Bull, he is all over the rear end of Mathieu Proudhome. It's just interesting to see here how the Volkswagen and the Fords are being particularly driven by the individual drivers, how they're taking that quick. Oh, actually, Tom Eric Bull responds by taking his joker lap, so now he will be packed up front, and we'll see what Tom Eric Bull can do now that he's got nobody in front of him.
So will he be able to open the gap here and slot himself into that 4th spot, or will Mathieu Prudhomme have something to say about this? Through that tight right-hand sector, Tom Eric Bull, he answers by making a mistake, and unfortunately Prudhomme has nowhere to go. He gets into the side of him. Because of that, Mateusz Chipawelski, he's going to pick up a spot here on the penultimate lap, and now Tom Eric Bull going to be kicking himself over such a simple and silly mistake. He also has Logan Clampett lurking behind him, and if Tom Eric Bull's Fiesta is bent, and boy, oh boy, does it look bent, he might struggle holding on to that spot. Mitchell de Jong, who currently leads this race, has now started the final lap and is going through that right-hand sector. He just brushes the tire wall that Tom Eric Bull just made that mistake on. Up into this tight right-hander for the final time. Through the loose gravel, Mitchell de Jong will come, and down this long straightaway. Fights on for second as well as Josh Rogers tries to throw a move on Renz Broekman in P number 2. Into the final corner, though, for the Honda Red Bull driver of Mitchell de Jong, Vieras Coanicinsport will win the opening night of RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive Friday Dirt Night, and they'll make it a 1-2 with Renz Broekman coming home second, and TTL will get themselves a podium here on opening night. Prudhomme and Chipawelski, they're going to slot themselves through the final corner line astern, and Logan Clampett will joker late, and he will jump Casey Kerwin, of course, Paul Ilbrink as well, who started this race off on the wrong foot. He will finish in a disappointing 10th.
Yeah, Mitchell de Jong, he's doing his donuts. He actually just bonked Renz Broekman. That's all right. They don't care as they do their victory donuts here, these all-wheel drive Volkswagen Beetles. How impressive a run from both of these guys. Obviously, Mitchell de Jong, he's going to be the fastest driver on the circuit, or one of, and Renz Broekman, for someone who's only had, maybe a week and a half to get used to these cars. Not bad at all.
So as that, let's go down your post-race results here live from the feature on Friday Night Dirt Night. Mitchell de Jong, if anyone's been paying attention to the sessions, this man has been impressive since the release of this content last week. He takes away a 5-second victory over Renz Broekman. Josh Rogers, he's going to finish in 3rd, rounding out your podium. Mathieu Prudhomme will finish 4th, and Stefan Chipawelski will finish 5th. Logan Clampett makes it a net +3 spots on his race by finishing 6th. Casey Kerwin 7th. Paul Ilbrink 8th. Tom Eric Bull started so strong, 2nd place in qualifying and won his heat race. He will finish 9th, unfortunately. And Ivor Kalmasis, he will be 10 laps down, not even completing the 1st lap, and he will round out the 10-car field here. Got a little bit of time before our next event goes up, which will be at the World of Outlaws Dirt Late Model Series, and well, let's use our time wisely. Mr. Cam Walsh, you're stood by with race winner Mitchell de Jong.
Yeah, absolutely. This number 4 car, the beat is a little beat up, but you know what, though, came across the line and is 6 minutes and 52 seconds, started from the pole, a little bit of dancing at that start, going through the International Horseshoe. Mitchell de Jong, your race winner here, and I guess I shouldn't say it's a surprise, GRC Rallycross driver taking it, and gotta say, Mitchell, it looked like it was some good old-fashioned fun out here at Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's nice to be able to come do an interview driving a Rallycross car here on in this TeamSpeak. So
you've covered all the bases over the years.
Yeah, no, it's it's
He's
nice
not
to
done
finally
NASCAR.
be. It's nice to be at home, I would say.
Absolutely. Hole shots, all essential, especially here at Daytona. Everyone runs into that international horseshoe from the pit lane. A little bit, I don't want to say worrying because they're always going to be worrying, but take me through these starts here in these all-wheel drive cars. These cars are rocket ships as far as pulling away, and everyone bowling into the start. It's actually very, very good that it was clean pretty much all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's super critical in these races. To where you start. Fortunately, I was able to be on the pole, so having the inside is, unless you mess up big time, you're almost kind of guaranteed a good starting spot or a good result in the first turn. But yeah, just yeah, try to not mess up the start. It's nice to have a handbrake for that, so you just let it go and just launch it. And yeah, no, everything went according to plan. Didn't get hit, which is always a good thing, and to avoid that in Rallycross. So yeah, it's all good.
Is that the secret? You start with a handbrake. I haven't done that yet. That probably would explain some things. But either way, okay. Final question, I guess I have to say, where's the paint schemes at? Come on, you guys have had like a week and a half. How come you haven't gotten anything painted up?
I know. We have one for the Ford, but I think Renz and I switched last second to the VW just to change it up a bit, but we didn't have one done in time. So yeah, we'll have it for next time, I guess.
Next time, indeed, and there certainly will be a next time every week here on iRacingLive, RaceSpot TV. But Mitchell, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or thanks before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. All our partners, Virtual Racing School, Huizingfeld, and Design, SimQuip, Yo-Roll Timing, and RaceSpot, of course, for broadcasting this one for us.
All right, we'll see you at Iowa Speedway next week, and you take care.
Thank you.
All right, and with Randy Chenowth, he is caught up with Renz Broekman.
Yeah, I'm stood by with the VRS teammate of Mr. Mitchell, almost Coanda teammate. Renz, well, you came in as car number 1, but I think everyone pretty much expected, if anyone's been paying attention, that Mitchell would run away with this one. So, how are you going to try to swallow this iRating loss after a result like this?
Well, I'm not quite sure if it's an iRating loss. Yeah, no, it's fine, really. I knew Mitchell was way quicker than I am in these cars.
And now
nevertheless, he's been an extreme big help to drive these.
We got Mitchell's input, and I got it in private talking with Hugo the other night. Talking about the Fiesta versus the Volkswagen, and I know when the content first released, Mitchell was sort of in the Fiesta, but the last few days he decided to test the Volkswagen, and ultimately decided to run tonight. You likely have run both as well, and you maybe not quite as much of an expert as Mitchell is, considering his real-world racing resume. How do you find both of the cars? Which do you prefer? What are the differences? What are the strengths, tastes of the Ford versus the Volkswagen? What do you, as both someone who seems very, very fast and a VRS coach, what's your input on the two cars?
Well, speed-wise, I think they are the same, or very, very close at least. Or at least I don't notice any difference lap time-wise. They handle slightly differently. The Fiesta seems a little bit more nimble, and the Volkswagen maybe a little bit more stable. But other than that, it's doesn't really make a difference. And like Mitchell, I've been racing both. Did racing the Ford earlier, and now the VW.
Well, thanks for joining us, friends. Congratulations on getting Coanda that 1-2 here in this one. Any shout-outs? Who would you like to thank tonight after a strong run from you?
Well, first of all, Mitchell for helping out, and of course our partners VRS, Huizingfeld, you guys, SimQuip, and Joe Real Timing.
Thanks, friends. Hope to see you run strong next week out at Iowa.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving on down the line, Mr. Cam Walsh. He stood by with Mr. TTL, third place finisher, doing a lot of things and a lot of racing on their iRacing service lately. Mr. Joshua K. Rogers.
Joshua Rogers, how are you doing tonight? First round of the Global Rallycross here on iRacing. We've been waiting pretty much all week now for this action, and it was a good race, good heats, good consolation runs, and a good finish for you. You're the first finishing Ford, well, just take me through your race.
Yeah, hey guys. Obviously, quality wasn't particularly what I'd hoped, P6, but thankfully we were able to move forward in Heat 2, and also that feature had a pretty decent start. Was looking hopefully to have a good battle with Renz there. De Jong's on another level, but made a few mistakes probably midway through the race, and that really hurt my chances. I think I started closing up to Renz slowly towards the end of the race, but it wasn't quite enough. So P3, pretty stoked, to be honest. Ran one of the GRC series, and yeah, pretty competitive field, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, pretty competitive field. We're going to be going to Iowa next. Iowa, I got to say, I absolutely was loving that track. Kind of was the one that took my heart out of all the different tracks here that we have available to us. But just kind of take me through this Daytona circuit. It's kind of for me personally, it's a tough one. I don't know how. I think every track is going to be different for every driver, much more than we have for normal circuits. Are you a fan of this particular Daytona track, or are you anticipating having an even better run going elsewhere?
No, particularly I think I'm a pretty big fan of the Daytona Rallycross circuits. I think I probably prefer the short layout a little bit more than the long layout, but I guess like all of them, they look pretty simple on paper. But once you get onto them, they're all pretty technical, and depending on where the dirt starts and the tarmac and whatnot, can really play a factor in how difficult it is to get used to, and also set up and whatnot. So yeah, look, I'm a fan of Daytona Long, but Iowa also great track. That Joker's pretty committed, so yeah, looking forward to next week for sure.
All right, anyone you would like to give a shout out to or thanks to before we let you go?
Yes, thanks. Just huge thanks to obviously TTL Esports for supporting me and whatnot. Matt Trotman for spotting this afternoon, and also pretty good debut I think for our team's driver academy. So I'm not sure if you saw that on the side of the car, but yeah, looking forward to hopefully doing something with that.
All right, well, thank you so very much for hopping into the booth with us. We appreciate it. The top finishing Australian, he finishes ahead of the British driver of Shivalevsky. So I mean, hey, at least we're keeping in tow with the Ashes. But either way, Joshua, thanks so much for hopping in the booth with us, and we'll see you next week.
No worries, we'll do.
Joshua K. Rogers, the first finishing Ford, which is good enough for third today, Randy. But either way, great introduction, I think, for the racing fans. We didn't have anything too crazy. We did have that incident with Paul Olbrink and Ira Calamies, and I can say, even though we've only been on the service for a week, I can certainly say I've had that happen to me.
Yeah, it was a fantastic first race, and I really enjoyed it. So we're, of course, going to be carrying on here in just a moment. But next week, the Global Rallycross Championship will be, as we talked about, moving to Iowa, one of the handful of tracks. And Iowa has the biggest differential in lap time of all the tracks we have. Most of the tracks, you cut a few seconds on the Joker. Actually, at Indianapolis Raceway Park, you only cut about half a second. Go to Iowa, I think the delta is somewhere in the realm of about 10 seconds quicker than the regular lap time. So that's going to be really, really interesting to watch how drivers Joker and when they decide to. Coming up next in just a moment, we're going to have, as I said, the World of Outlaw Dirt late models at Eldora and Cam. That's not something we've done yet. I'm really excited about watching those big body cars really throw that body roll around at Eldora.
Yeah, Eldora, of course, the place to start, and we hope that you will continue to watch on iRacingLive and RaceSpot TV as we head to the World Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series. But either way, got to just close up shop real quick with the GRC boys, let them get all a bit packed up, and we'll get our way to the mudslinging beasts. That is the Super Turt late model. But Randy, very excited about that.
Yep, going to be very, very exciting indeed. So, hope you all enjoyed the first round of Global Rallycross coverage here on RaceSpot TV and iRacingLive. Do not go away. We're going to be right back after a quick commercial break. We get things sorted for the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series live from the Eldora Motor Speedway. Don't go away. See you in a couple minutes.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series here at Eldora Speedway, Rossburg, Ohio. 2,250 pounds, top speed of 160 mile an hour, 9,000 RPM, putting out 679 foot-pounds of torque with a 438 cubic engine, 850 horsepower engine. Hello, everybody. It is the Dirt Late Model, and it is live here at Eldora Speedway. Of course, GRC just getting done, and Randy, we had a grand old time with that. I'm super excited about having these GRC Rallycross cars, and gotta say, it looks like we're gonna have a good time under the lights here at Eldora in Rossburg, Ohio.
Yeah, that Red Bull Global Rallycross race was amazing, but now we go under the lights to the half-mile oval at Eldora Motor Speedway, and we've seen the sprint cars run this track many a time, and now we get to watch how these big late model cars manage to wheel themselves way around this half-mile track in Rossburg, Ohio.
Yeah, and of course, late models, these things, obviously the aerodynamic-ness, I have to say, is not the same as having a giant adjustable wing on the top, so they have to throw these cars so much more, and in doing that, it just presents such a fantastic show. We'll see the high line, we'll see the low line, and we'll see how it goes here, as we will have a 40-lap feature after a pair of heat races, and then the last chance qualifier, consolation, B main, whatever you want to call it. The final one car, I think, goes to the feature, so we'll see how that works.
No, it's 2.
But that's oh, okay, all right. It said 1 on mine, but either way, it looks to me like everyone's putting in their qualifying times, which will split us into our pair of heats. Austin Sullivan, he's the one that starts. He's looking strong so far.
And who would have guessed that Mr. Austin Sullivan will be strong? He's been the most dominant driver pretty much in the sprint cars, and he's like, you know what? I can drive something that basically is twice the size, twice the weight, and wheel it around just as well. He's currently up by 0.06 of a second. So The way it works is a little bit different, Cam. Grids will be 2x2, still odds and evens, but 7 transfer from each of our B mains. Excuse me, from each of our heat races, and that's a pretty big jump from what we saw in that Global Rallycross.
Yeah, it is, and I was just waiting for Jordan Weasley to put in some qualifying laps here. Jordan Weasley, he did a 15.8 in practice, so that would be good enough for pole right now, and there he goes, a 15.883 Jordan Wesley. He puts it up on pole right now, and seeing as he's the last car on track, he doesn't even need his second lap, a storming lap from that number 3 car.
Great lap indeed from him, and he does not improve on lap number 2, but we now have our grid set. Cam, take us down the grid for heat number 1.
All right, well, it's going to be Jordan Weasley. It's going to be Howard Weaver. It is going to be Nathan Davis, the car of Jeremy Caprone. It is going to be Philip Diaz. It is going to be Britton Roxbury. Joe Lederillo, well, he's gotten out of his GRC machine. He's come up to Eldora. And then rounding out your 8-car grid, it is going to be Matthew Raymond for what will be 7 or 8 pick laps. And we will see just how everyone gets these things a rolling. You're going to have to get on and on quick. Everyone pack it in to behind the iRacing official pace truck here under the lights. Randy, super excited, but I got to say these late models are parked precariously close to our iRacing pace truck driver, or somebody left it in neutral. But either way, super excited to get underway here at Eldora for the first time.
Yep, my first time really watching these cars, and I think it's going to be exciting as well. Like you said, very, very tightly packed here. And I will say one thing I already prefer a little bit, Cam, compared to the GRC, because we get these pace laps, a little bit more breathing room in between the qualifying and the heats, as opposed to just the gridding time we get in Rallycross. And Mr. Wesley, he looks set and keen to go. He does a big wiggle exiting pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. He wants to rock and roll. He wants to see how this looks. Oh, he's ready to rock and roll. He's been waiting. He's said to himself these last couple of seasons, why not us? Finally, the World of Outlaws Craftsman late model comes home to RaceSpot TV, iRacing Live. That pace truck looking to pull off. Yes, certainly, Randy. We appreciate the time. Is it still 2 pace laps? That's the question. But either way, Jordan Weasley, it's going to be interesting to see when he punches it, when he gets that super late model going, and if he will get the whole shot over Howard Weaver.
It'll be interesting to see indeed as the lights are out on that pace car. So as they come through 3 and 4 this time, Mr. Jordan Wesley will be in command of the field.
All right, so Jordan Wesley, he'll be the one to take the green, but when will Howard Weaver go? Will he be able to put it out? Nope, the cars roll to the right, the revs build, and we are green flag racing for the World Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series already 3 wide going into 1.
3 wide in the mid-pack between Jeremy Caprone, Nate Davis, Brixton Roxbury's in this fight, as well as Phil Diaz. A pair of INX Racing teammates are running in this one tonight. Philip Diaz finds himself with his teammate of Joe Lederillo, as Jordan Wesley is doing his best to stretch the gap over Howard Weaver here as they go into 3 and 4 for lap number 2.
Yeah, Jordan Wesley, he's looking fairly comfortable right now. Howard Weaver there packing the top side right now, going hit about 120 mile an hour before they go into the corners. You only scrub off maybe 30 mile an hour here, which is extraordinarily impressive for these super late models. Caprone, he's running comfortably in 3rd. He runs to the bottom side here. We've only got 1 or 2 cars trying that bottom side. And here comes Jordan Wesley. A great exit coming off of corner number 4, putting him to the lead of the race.
Fighting hard with Howard Weaver is Jordan Weasley, both fighting back and forth here as they go. Now working lap number 4 of 8. You see both of these front runners working the top of the racetrack. Get back to the likes of Jeremy Caprone, Nate Davis. They're running in the middle. As again, big move by Weaver down on the inside, and that 3 machine of Wesley drives it back to the bottom, gets it back around him, but Howard not going to let up on this pressure, trying to take this race lead away from that number 3 machine.
These guys are running circles around each other. That was a complete rotation. Here he comes up a little too close. They make contact. Howard Weaver's into Jordan Wesley. Wesley is into the wall just a little bit. The cars are completely fine, but this allows Jeremy Caprone to comfortably look like he's going to come in here. 1 lap to go here as Jordan Wesley. He wants to take the victory here in our first running of the World of Outlaws. It's going to be 2 to go as they're going to pick up the white flag, but either way, Jordan Wesley, he's going to look comfortably. Now he's going to pick up the white flag here, 1 to go. So for Howard Weaver, will he be able to do anything going into 3 and 4? I don't think so, but it looks to me like unless Jordan Wesley has an issue, Howard Weaver, he's the last chance throwing it up, but he takes the inside barrier, blows his car up, and it is going to be Jordan Wesley, Howard Weaver, Jeremy Caprone. So they finish just like that. Great running, Randy, from both of these cars. Take a quick look at the results before everyone packs it all up, and we'll go from there. So let's do our results here. In heat number 1, it was Jordan Wesley. He'll come home with the first, well, I don't know if we'd call it a W yet. The first heat win here on iRacingLive RaceSpot TV. Howard Weaver second. It was Caprone third, Nathan Davis, Philip Diaz, Britton Roxbury, Joe Letteriello, and Matthew Raymond. So we're going to load up the rest of the field. And Randy, good first heat.
Good first heat indeed, and now we have the second one to look forward to as well. Always great to see in these late models and really any dirt series, watching those heat races, seeing good, clean racing up and down the field. Question's going to be, we saw that Mr. Wesley was pretty much dominant in that heat race. Austin Solomon very close to him in qualifying. Will he be able to win this heat to ensure that he can start side by side with Wesley once we go to that feature?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look at our Heat 2 starting grid. It is going to be Austin Semmelman. We'll see what he can do. Virgil Graham, Randall Carter, Chris McGuire, Rocky Battenfield, which is just a fantastic name, Cody Dutton, and then Josh Michaelmore. So it looks to me like we're going to have some good running here as the pace truck out. And again, you know what? He didn't have to worry about anything with cautions, Randy. He managed to just run out there, but he's going to get plenty of lap times. Lights are out on the iRacing official pacing truck. We'll get underway here for heat number 2. Austin Semmelman, he's ready. Chris McGuire, he's way up in the high banks. He wants to get a good run. And there goes Austin Semmelman. The engines build. The notes come to the crescendo. And here we go. Heat number 2 starts from Eldora.
And Austin Semmelman jumps himself to the top side as quickly as he can, as Virgil Graham is going to try to reel him in side by side in the background between Rocky Benefield and Cody Dutton here. As they're almost going to be 3 wide as the 9 machine throws it up the inside on them. That's Josh Micklemore as they now roll off into 1 and 2. They get it back to just 2 by 2 here, but a car up in the wall makes it 3 wide for the moment. That was the 8 of Rocky Benefield. He got in the wall up high.
Yeah, Randall Carter, he's running the bottom side trying to fight against Chris McGuire. They're still trying to run 3 wide here at the very final spots here. Josh Michaelmore, he runs a little too hard. He'll stick the rear end of his super late model into the wall, and that allows Cody Dutton the position. But either way, your leader still Austin Semmelman, but Virgil Graham has not let him go. Lap times are right there in a hair's breadth. Virgil Graham just a sliver faster.
Everyone fighting really, really close right now as Austin Semmelman continues to lead the way over Virgil Graham. 2 by 2 behind, though, as Chris K. McGuire gets up on the top side of Randall Carter and defends that spot. 15 machine, big slider into 1 and 2. That's Cody Dutton on Josh Micklemore. He has the spot and able to take the line away as that 9 tried to drive it down on the inside.
Yeah, and so we've got some great running here in the final 3 positions in heat number 2. Rocky Battenfield, they're just feeling each other out, seeing what they can do. As Michaelmore, he's trying to figure this out as well. Got to remember, as they go side by side into the corner there, they're just trying to look to get that slider on. Michaelmore, nothing in it.
2 laps to go here as everyone continuing to fight. Chris McGuire and Randall Carter, they're side by side with this 3-car tango here at the back of the field. Cody Dutton goes high, the 9 machine throw ups to the bottom again. Micklemore has the spot. Can the 8 of Beddenfield get the drive down low? No, he can't. White flag flies.
Austin Semmelman, he's already on the back stretch, but he has checked out by almost 1 full second. So give it to that number 1 machine. He will take it in heat number 2. Virgil Graham will come home second. Chris McGuire will come home third. Rocky will come home in the fourth position. Cody Dutton in fifth. Josh Michael Moore in sixth. And that will just leave Josh Michael Moore in that seventh position, actually. Cody Dutton in sixth. So we've got the racing grid down. We've got the feature. It is ready to rock and roll. Not enough cars for the consolation. So you know what? Forget that. We're just going to throw them all in the feature and see what we can do. Jordan Wesley, he'll take the starting grid. Austin Selman will start his outside. Howard Weaver, he'll start third. Virgil Graham in fourth. Jeremy Caprone in the fifth position, excuse me. Chris McGuire, he'll start sixth. Nathan Davis will start seventh. Randall Carter in eighth. Philip Diaz in ninth. Rocky Battenfield 10th. Britton Roxbury in the 11th position. Cody Dutton 12th. Joe Latorello 13th. Josh Michael Moore 14th. Matthew Raymond 15th. The fireworks are off in the air. The flames are shooting here at Eldora. We're ready to rock and roll, and we are ready to roll here at Rossburg, Ohio.
This is going to be an entertaining one. Jordan Wesley, absolutely perfect in his heat race. Austin Selman, perfect in his heat race. And you have the likes of Howard Weaver and Virgil Graham rolling off on that second row. They showed they were pacey. They showed that they can keep up with those two in their individual heats. What can they do? Is Jordan already doing his stereotypical, apparently this is probably going to be the new thing, isn't it? Whether Jordan comes out and actually just does crazy stuff exiting pit road.
Wait till he crashes in the wall. Then maybe not so much crazy stuff, but 40 laps, 40 laps here in the feature race at Eldora Speedway. So these cars are going to be going a heck of a lot longer than our sprint car counterparts, and it is going to be a grand old time. Lights are out on the iRacing official pace truck, and let's see what we can do here, as it is Jordan Wesley. It is Austin Selman. We'll see how the track has been holding up. It started with slight usage. Haven't had much time to talk about the track. We'll see how it wears in, where the cars travel. Jordan Wesley, that number 3 machine. He's ready to rock and roll. The engine notes built, and we are green for the first time in the world of Outlaw Craftsman late model series.
Howard Weaver looks to the bottom already. We got some contact in the background. That was one of those INEX cars. I believe that Philip Diaz, someone got into the back of him, but everyone threw pretty much clean up and down the field beyond that little contact. Howard Weaver trying his best to get to the inside of the one of Austin Selman, not able to do so. First side-by-side in the background, that's Nate Davis racing with the likes of Randall Carter and Phil Diaz. Diaz gets into that 8 machine of Benefield, and he's going to lose a couple spots because of it.
Yeah, and so for Jordan Wesley, he's comfortably now in the lead with Austin Selman hovering right behind. Nobody has broken away from anybody. And what this means is that it is still anyone's game. There's no dominant machine. Everyone running the high side, minus Philip Diaz, that INEX machine, in his battle with Britton Roxbury. So Philip Diaz looks like he might be able to go up one position. Nope, take that back. Good running here, as actually Jordan Wesley stays high. Austin Selman goes low. Put Austin Selman up to the lead, and here comes Howard Weaver.
Jordan Wesley made his first mistake of the night, tagged the wall on the top side when Austin Selman threw the slider, and he loses that second spot as well. Howard Weaver holds it, but Wesley's going to go to the bottom hard, slides up the racetrack, gets to the cushion. Can he get the momentum down the front straightaway? Yes, he can. Howard Weaver coming under attack for the 4. Virgil Graham 3 wide through 1 and 2 for a podium spot, and they work down the back straightaway. And Jordan Wesley going to be able to hold on to that second spot, as Austin Selman, because of that fighting behind, has been able to break away.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He is ecstatic to be seeing that. Of course, he only sees that for a particular amount of time. They throw the cars so much. But either way, for Selman and that number 1 machine, he wants to get the first victory in the World of Outlaws Craftsman Late Model Series broadcast here on iRacing Live and RaceSpot TV. Jordan Wesley, Howard Weaver, Virgil Graham, Jeremy Caprone, Chris McGuire. McGuire, he's looking quick. He might be attacking Caprone in the next couple laps. It's Davis, Carter, Diaz, Roxbury, Battenfield, Michael Moore, Dutton, Latorello, and Matthew Raymond. It feels like we've got an insane number of cars on the track, Randy. It is just 15 cars, though, but it is still great racing. I gotta say, pretty much from the entirety of quarters 3 and 4 all the way to 1 and 2, we've got machines here racing this racetrack, and I have a feeling that this track, with this many cars running, is going to start wearing out super quick.
especially with cars like these late models. They really dig into the track hard, and because we are running a higher lap count than we're accustomed to, Cam, running the sprint cars, we typically see 25 to 30 lap features. Here we're talking 40, so I think this track's going to get really, really, really worn in. It's going to be interesting to watch in the sprint cars as well once we get to them after this. We're accustomed to just coming into those races and the track already being worn in. We're going to see what that track does, starting clean for the heats, then getting a little bit slicked off for the B main, and then slicking off hardcore for that feature. Going to be interesting as the fight is now on between Wesley and Weaver for P number 2, but everyone here, Cam, pretty much running that top side still. That top side is starting to get a little slick.
Yeah, you know, and I gotta say, I'm not necessarily sure if these guys really start adjusting these machines. It's Howard Weaver adjusting how you drive the machines. He throws the slider on Jordan Wesley. Wesley, he throws the counter. He'll lead to the inside line going in through 1 and 2, so he'll throw the counter, and Howard Weaver now starting. So here we go. It's the cyclic once again of down to the inside and then up to the high side, but Howard Weaver, however, he'll tag the outside wall. That throws him way back, throws Virgil Graham into the picture. Virgil Graham, that number 4 car in the 4th position. I'm sure he is going to want to improve, but for Jordan Wesley, I think he's just looking out his front, and he just sees Austin Selman pulling away, and he's probably got to be shaking his fist right now, because if that was just a straight, clean pass from Austin Selman without any pressure from behind, he might still be behind. The lap times are fairly similar, but instead, he's got to be fighting for position.
Wesley's not going to be really happy based on how this race is going. Taking that pole position, dominating his heat the way he did, and then letting Austin get out to this sort of lead. It's not all Jordan's fault. You know, you can really, I don't want to say put the blame, but because the likes of Howard Weaver and Virgil Graham have been so close to Wesley, pushing so hard, Selman's been able to stretch out a lead. They're 2x2, a little bit deeper down the field though. Chris McGuire and Nate Davis, they race door to door onto the back straightaway, and they touch door to door as they go running off into 3. The 7 machine of Jeremy Caprone. He's there as well, as there's more side-by-side fighting in the background. While things have gotten a little spread out front, Cam, the mid-pack is still hugely contested.
Yeah, not only that, all the cars are looking good. There goes Davis into the wall. As Davis, he hits the outside wall that allows Randall Carter, Jeremy Caprone to go by. They're almost 4 wide sitting behind between Diaz, Battenfield, Ratsbury, and Michael Moore. So good action seems to be taking off as the track is slickening off. McGuire is leading this group of cars from 5th position on back, and McGuire, he's got to deal with an inside try from Jeremy Caprone. Cars are starting to wander. They're trying to look for some speed. Somebody's in the wall. Cody Dutton, as I think that outside line has finally given up the ghost, and cars are now searching for dirt. And now, Randy, things get interesting. We're halfway through our feature event in the World of Outlaws Late Model Series.
20 down, 20 to go, and there's still some good dirt up there, Cam, but you got a little bit more braver to get to it. Look at that number 1 machine of Austin Selman. He's getting about 3 inches, if not less, away from that outside retaining wall as he searches for the cushion. And I think Jordan Wesley and Howard Weaver, they both didn't get it right. Both have a little bit of a hiccup through 3 and 4 that time through, so there's still some good dirt up there. It's just going to be a little bit harder, a little bit more sketchy to try to get to it.
Yeah, Austin Selman, I haven't really seen him touch the wall yet, whereas Jordan Wesley and Howard Weaver both touched the outside wall that last lap. Virgil Graham, he's also watching along, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. A little bit of space between them, but here comes Randall Carter on Jeremy Caprone here, lap 23 of 40. Chris McGuire gets into the outside wall. He gets a little squirrely, as you can just see the racing track itself. It's rubbering in. It's starting to get some really, really good wear lines pretty much all around this Eldora circuit. Of course, the legendary Eldora Speedway under the lights. What could possibly be better? As Chris McGuire, Jeremy Caprone, Randall Carter, and Nathan Davis all fighting for position here. And it looks to me like Randall Carter, I think he wants to start heading outside the line, but he's just stuck on that inside.
He just went into turn number 1, got that right rear tire on the slick. That 10 machine got way sideways, a lot more than everyone else around him. Now he gets that car to the bottom, not throwing a slider, just moving the car down there. So how will he be able to do down there on the bottom side of the racetrack? We haven't seen anyone really go down there with the exception of trying to make a pass. But he's door to door with that 5 machine of Nate Davis. As they go into turn number 3, they're going to be 3 wide as Jeremy Coppin's not that quick on the top side, almost 4 wide as the 11 machine of Diaz thought about stuffing the nose, and he did for a moment, then thought better of it. Diaz throws the slider, though, on Carter into 1 and 2, and I think he's just going to be able to make that stick. No, I take that back. With a 10 machine tags the wall, move Diaz up a spot in the INEX car.
That's how apparently you get things done in late model, because Nathan Davis, he's now on the press for Chris McGuire. He's on the charge. Apparently that number 5 is packing some heat here in the as the track wears away. We'll see who is the best of the rest, I think, as the simplest way to put it. Battle for second position taking off, though, because Jordan Wesley, he just got into the wall hard. That allows Howard Weaver to try to throw to the inside. Nothing in it, though. Jordan Wesley, great recovery, but this just allows Austin Sebelman. He's got a 2.3 second gap. Yes, a 2.3 second gap. I don't think he has to be concerned about lap cars. 10 laps to go.
10 to go, and I think Howard Weaver, he's about to get really, really aggressive trying to get by Jordan Wesley. He has been the quicker of these two drivers. Jordan struggling just a little bit, but that said, Jordan, after tagging that wall, maybe he'll knock something into alignment, because he went quick that last time through to 16.23, one of the quickest cars out there on the racetrack as they go in towards 1 and 2 here. Lap number 32 of 40, so 9 laps left in this one. Can anyone reel in Austin Sebelman? He's been flawless all night. Not really a scratch on that late model running out in front.
Car's not even that dirty, to be completely honest. But for Austin Sebelman, he's running happily up front there. Wesley, he's now pulled enough away from Howard Weaver. He can just focus on his line. So the battle now is from 5th on back. And Nathan Davis, he wants to lead this pack. He wants to get up there over that number 13 machine. So it's Chris McGuire, it's Nathan Davis, Jeremy Caprone, Philip Diaz, Roxbury Carter, and Michael Moore, all sort of in this grouping here. If anything were to happen, and they're actually catching Virgil Graham, they caught him. So this is now turned into a battle for 4th, as they're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch here at Eldora.
Not sure what the issue is for Virgil Graham. Don't know if he's fighting fuel or what, but a little bit of contact behind. 14 machine of Brandon Roxbury fighting with Randall Carter. They got a little bit of a touch as they do 3 and 4, but they get it back together, still side by side as they're nearing 5 laps to go. Jeremy Caprone also fighting with Chris McGuire as well. Nathan Davis still in the picture as Wesley's been able to break away. First caution of the night. We're going to get a reset here for one final restart and a quick run to the checker.
Yeah, this has been between Virgil Graham, and I think Virgil had something going on. His car was running about 30 mile an hour slower than everyone else. Josh Michael Moore, he threw the car as he normally would going into 1 and 2, and he absolutely ate the rear end of that number 4 machine, and they wrecked it going all the way up to the Eldora wall. So the first caution here, I'm pretty confident Virgil Graham perhaps had fueling issues, perhaps was not anticipating it to go green all the way. But we'll stack him one more time against that pace truck. And, well, this changes everything.
Yeah, this changes everything. Jordan Wesley found some speed at the tail end of that run. The question is, will we go green? This time around start-finish, we will get our answer. If the lights on that iRacing safety truck stay on, no, we will not go back to green flag racing. But if they do go off, we will get a 1-lap half-mile shootout. And Cam, I think we're going to get it. Looks like people are sort of forming up back there. Typically what happens when they're getting the 2 to go signal, I think 1 to go going to be in the air right here.
Now, we'll see here. I think that there's some hesitation. People aren't quite sure. I'd be excited if we had a 1-lap dash for the dash. There we go. Lights are out on the iRacing official pace track. We're going to get 1 lap to go. Cars are now stacking them up. They're going to pack them up. Austin Sebelman, he's now got to find the right spot for a restart. We have not had any cautions. This race is Jordan Wesley. He wants to let Austin Sebelman know, I'm right here, my good friend. I'm ready to rock and roll. I've got the high side. I'm ready to jump you, but he is going to be starting in that bad stuff. So we'll see here. The iRacing official pace track for the only time today has come out. He'll pull in. Austin Sebelman punches it as soon as he gets the opportunity to. He's got the whole shot. He leads it as they're now all bowling into corner number 1 here. Jordan Wesley, at the very least, wants to keep that second position, but he'll try on the inside. Last lap try for Austin Sebelman on the outside. Jordan Wesley on the inside, but there's nothing in it. They make some door-to-door contact. It's a drag race to the finish, and it still goes to Austin Sebelman. The cars throwing themselves across the start-finish line.
What a run to the finish, not just for the race win, but for everybody. I think everyone was door-to-door with someone as they came to that one, but Austin Sebelman, he somehow, some way is going to scratch out victory here from Eldora.
Yeah, absolutely. When are we going to throw another 15 cars into these feature races? That was absolutely fantastic. Austin Sebelman taking the victory, and I gotta say, absolutely wonderful racing. Randy, well, if that is what we're going to be expecting over the next 12 weeks, it is going to be some good fun.
Yeah, if this is what our late model series races have been like, the sprint car boys better step it up. Otherwise, we might be putting these on as the head show coming next season.
No, but either way, I'm sorry. I got an affinity for the sprint cars. I know that they managed to pull up the caution like 3 times every single time in a 20-lap race. And these guys managed to do it once.
You tend to lean towards favoritism, Cam. Okay.
I lean towards favoritism, but either way, I gotta say, absolutely fantastic running. We're gonna have Howard Weaver in here in but a few moments' time. Can we go through the official results? I don't think we've done that, so we can get some music and look at the official results. We've got a breather. We've got some time before the World of Outlaws Craftsman sprint cars come out. So either way, for the late models, it's Austin Semmelman in 11 minutes and 46 seconds, 40 times around this racing circuit, 1 caution, and that caution left us with 1 lap to go, which means that it was 0.018 between Austin Semmelman and Jordan Wesley. Howard Weaver, he'll come home in 3rd. Nathan Davis will finish 4th. Chris McGuire in 5th. Jeremy Caprone will finish 6th. Britton Roxbury in 7th. Philip Diaz in 8th. Rocky Battenfield in 9th. Randall Carter in the 10th position. Joe Letterillo, he'll finish 11th. Cody Dutton in 12th. Matthew Raymond in 13th. Josh Michaelmore 14th. Virgil Graham in 15th. And I gotta say, absolutely outstanding. We had nothing but Americans here except for Matthew Raymond, the Australian, and Josh Michaelmore, the Australian. So no surprises there, Randy, as the Australians are out in force too. And I gotta say, this late model running was absolutely sensational.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it's one of the things about the dirt racing, both on the Rallycross side as well as the oval stuff. Australia sort of has an affinity for that sort of stuff. Dirt oval racing, hugely popular there down under. So because of that, normally they just sort of lock themselves into a little V8 community. There's a handful of guys that do some of the NASCAR and GT stuff. But it's always good to get these guys on the RaceSpot broadcast that we don't normally see, because they can fight pretty hard and pretty well door-to-door at times.
Yeah, and when these cars make contact, they don't spontaneously combust and throw themselves in the catch fence. We have Austin Semmelman and Howard Weaver for interview. We'll start with Austin Semmelman. Austin Semmelman, race winner from Eldora Speedway. You took the heat, you took the final 40 times around this Eldora circuit in that super late model. Take me through it.
40, it felt like 400 up there leading, but no, it was a good race. I was kind of surprised to see the lead I had, because I don't run any of the stuff on and all that. So when the caution came out, I looked and see, and it was like a 2-second gap or something. I was really surprised, because I didn't feel that good out front, but it was good enough, I guess.
Now, once you got that position after a couple of those rotations where you and Jordan Wesley were just trading positions, they all started fighting amongst each other, and that allowed you to really pull away. But take me through this racing circuit, kind of, I don't want to say falling apart, because obviously it didn't, but, you know, obviously much more heavier car than the sprint car that we're used to on the broadcasts, and more laps than we're used to in the broadcasts. So the track changed wildly, yet you stayed up on that high side.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like I felt it going away for sure, and there's a couple laps where I kind of coasted through the middle and 1 and 2 and see what it felt like, but you could see it going away and you could feel it. I was having to get out of the gas a ton running the top, and that's why I felt like they would be all over me, because I didn't know what line they were running. I didn't know where anybody was running. I was just kind of running my line, and if somebody got to me, I'd have to change it up. But it definitely went away fast, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun for us as well. And, well, either way, you're going to be prepping the sprint car, right? You're going to be right back?
Oh, yeah, they're getting it shined up in the hauler right now. No, but, yeah, it'll be fun. Hopefully it puts on equal as good a show as that was. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I got to say, we certainly had a good time. So if we're having a good time, I can only imagine that the people out there are having a grand old time, Austin. Anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to or anything before we let you go, though, to get back to your hauler?
Yeah, just the usual fellas, Dirt Division, VLR, RacingIn.com, Capron Speed Shirts, so everybody that makes us go.
All right, Austin, we'll catch you in 1 week time. Take care.
All right, Cam, thank you.
So that's Austin Semmelman. We have Howard Weaver, and he is standing by with Randy Genworth.
Yeah, I'm stood by with Howard. Howard, qualified third, finished second in your heat to Austin, finished third, but you're pretty much there fighting with Jordan the entire time. I think there was a phase up until about lap number 30 where you had quite a bit of pace over Jordan, but it seemed like as the track slicked off a little bit, he picked it up a little. Is that how it felt to you in that 2 machine, or did you feel you should have been able to get around Jordan somehow, some way?
I definitely should have got by him. What actually happened is I didn't expect it to go caution free. So there about the last 10-15 laps, I started running low and like letting off way too much because I was probably going to run out of fuel without that last caution. I know my teammate Virgil, he ran out. So yeah, I think I was faster than Jordan, but I had to go into fuel saving mode because I'm not very smart and didn't put enough. So, oh well.
Now, that's something that we've seen happen in the sprint cars as well, but the sprint car, of course, relatively equal on power to these late models, but of course, much, much smaller, much lighter. How much is the differential in fuel in this car compared to the sprint car? Because in the sprint car, the difference between a full tank of gas and an empty tank of gas is pushing, like, you know, nearly a full second over one of these long racetracks. Is it that much here in these late models because they're so much bigger and heavier? Is it less much of a, you know, is it less drastic than that? How big of a difference does that make in these big closed wheel cars?
Yeah, it's not even close to as drastic as the sprint cars. Probably doesn't really make a difference at all, but I put 11 gallons because I know last season 10 gallons would make 35 laps caution free, so I figured 11 would make 40, and it was basically saying I had 5 laps left with 5 to go, and that's after I was saving. So next time I'll know to go with 12, but yeah, it doesn't make as big of a difference as the sprint cars. I just thought 11 would be safe with or without cautions, but apparently it probably wasn't going to be.
Now, Howard, you're also one who you've seen in the big winged 410 World of Outlaw Craftsman sprint cars, and of course seeing you tonight run strong. What's the driving style difference like between that big late model and the 410 wing sprint car? Having that big wing on top, I know the driving style is a lot of just letting the wind, or letting the air rather, catch the car and really drive the car around. These cars seemed much more sideways. What are you doing with your feet? What are you doing with your hands that's different from the open wheel car?
Well, in these, I tend to let off the gas a lot more. The track tonight was pretty tacky, though. I wish it would have been slicker than that. But with the new heat races, they've been starting them tackier and letting them wear in, but it didn't seem to wear in a whole lot. But yeah, in the late models, kind of usually got to be off the gas a little bit more than the sprint cars. The sprint cars, if you get them set into the corner, you can kind of keep on it. But it's more dangerous running up by the wall in the sprint cars. I can hit the wall tonight and survive, and then I'll go jump in the sprint car and I hit it like I did one time in the late model and I'm dead. So yeah, there's a difference, but Austin is also my teammate, and he's good in both, and I'm good in late models and bad in sprint cars, so you know, it kind of balances out.
Well, Howard, one more question before we let you go. Some new content on the dirt side. We got Knoxville, we got the dirt midget. What's been your impressions on those, on the new car and the new track? How do you like that little dirt midget? And how do you like the sprint car capital of the world at Knoxville?
Well, in real life, I live in Tennessee, so I've never seen a midget other than my cousin. But no, I'm just kidding. That was rude. No, I've never seen midgets in real life.
Is your cousin Rico Abreu?
Probably somewhere down the line. No, I've never seen the midgets race. I've only seen one sprint car race, so I only race sprint cars to support Austin and Alex and the other VLR guys. But so I've only ran the midgets once on here, and they were a lot of fun. But everything I've read, they're really, really awesome. And Knoxville's really, really good in the sprint cars. In the late models and modifieds, it's kind of, which are what I run the most, it's kind of more of a bottom lane track, but seems like after this most recent update, you can kind of move around more in those two. But in the sprint cars, Knoxville, which is what it's designed for, I guess, is pretty amazing.
Well, thanks for joining us, Howard. Congrats again on the podium tonight. You and that number 2 machine were absolutely phenomenal through your heat race and then into this feature event. Before we let you go, any shout out, who'd you like to thank?
Yeah, I just want to thank Burberry Designs on the car. They make some cool custom Yeti cups. I was able to win one of those at VLR last season in the mods, so people can check them out. And then, you know, just VLR and RaceSpot TV for broadcasting.
Kim, back over to you.
Oh, all right. So we've got World of Outlaws Craftsman sprint cars lined up on the docket. They're working the Eldora racing circuit. And we'll see what we can do here as they'll get the tracks warped up. They'll get it all worked in. We'll see where we start. We'll get the sprint cars warmed up, ready to rock and roll. 410 wing sprint cars. Thanks to Howard Weaver. Thanks to Austin Selman. Congratulations to Austin Selman, and a great run from Jordan Wesley as well. As putting on a fantastic late model show here. So we are going to take a commercial
commercial
break. I know. I was trying to find like a different word for it, but either way we can. So either way, World of Outlaws Craftsman late models. They are finding the mid slot here on iRacing's RaceSpot TV Dirt Night. So of course, if you like this, like and follow and all that, as of course they put on a fantastic show as we get ready for the sprint cars in just a few moments time.
I grew up in Northern California, and my parents were just really big race fans and took my sister and I to, sprint car races pretty much every Friday and Saturday night. So I did outlaw kart racing from 7 till I was 14. And then that's when I got into 360 and 410 wing sprint cars. There's just something about dirt racing that's just, you can't get anywhere else. I enjoy going back to race them whenever I can. I get to run, about 20 to 25 dirt races a year and try and, put on a show every time I'm there.
Battle for the lead. Kyle Larson to the inside of Shane Stewart. Slide job, no. Larson unable to complete the pass. He'll follow Shane Stewart down the back straightaway. Stewart makes the move to the inside of Craig Kinser. Kyle Larson goes around the outside out of turn 4. You've got a new race leader. Kyle Larson from ninth leads on lap number 23.
I'm probably just a little more relaxed, I guess, at the dirt track just because it's for fun, where the NASCAR stuff, it's points racing and a lot bigger sponsors and stuff you have to please and all that. You're there for 3 days a week, so your approach is a little bit different there, where sprint cars you're there for 5 or 6 hours and moving on to the next racetrack. So I've been on iRacing, I think, since 2009 or 10. Yeah, I remember, starting out, as a rookie on there, in the legends and the late models and stuff like that. And that was fun to, have to try and get your licenses up and stuff. But it's amazing to me how, now that I get to race on a lot of the tracks that are on there, how to the T, similar because of the laser scanning and stuff like that. So all the bumps and all the visual aspects of it are very good. So when I first got to like K&N and then the Nationwide Series at the time, I would race iRacing all the time to learn as much as I could about the racetrack before I went to the actual racetrack to race. So to me, it's just for fun now. So I enjoy going on there. Actually, I don't enjoy going on there all the time because I don't win a lot. So it's frustrating to see myself struggle to run top 10 in an Xfinity race or something like that and get beat by Logan Seavey every time I run a sprint car. So the level of competition on iRacing is better than real life. You've got thousands of drivers on there that, a lot of them are probably better than the people you see on TV. They just haven't had the opportunities to make it, but can kick butt on there, and you can spend all day long running thousands of laps a day, so you can get yourself, really good at it. So competition level is just unbelievable, really, on there. Everybody's been asking for dirt on there for forever. So when they announced it, I got really, really excited. And honestly, it's blown my expectations away. The cars, to me, drive really good when the track's hooked up. The visual part of the racetrack changing is amazing. How you can run some laps and see it start to get shiny, and then you feel it getting slick. Areas of the racetrack getting dirty, and then you get some cars run through there and it cleans off and gets grip back. It's nuts. The tear-off feature is really cool. Watching the wing move backwards and forwards. I run with the virtual reality headset too, so being able to like look down and see everything, it looks extremely realistic. So yeah, it blew my expectations away. And it's only going to get better, really.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the world of Outlaws.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the World of Outlaw Craftsman section of our iRacing RaceSpot TV hashtag Dirt Night. Of course, we've had our Red Bull GRC, we've had our Craftsman late models. Now we are ready to rock and roll. 410 wing sprint car action to close the night out. It's moved from Monday nights to Fridays. We're happy to have you. So, of course, myself, Cam Walsh, Randy Chenowth, and Hugo Louis, we're ready to rock and roll. We've got all of our typical names and features here, but we've got Heat Racing. Alex Bergeron is out there brandishing that #1 after taking his championship last season. We'll see as we start season 18, season 2018. And it looks to me, Randy, like we are going to keep on rolling from strength to strength. Gotta love some sprint car action.
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome race. Welcome back, of course, everyone. Back here at Eldora for race number 3. We will not always follow the same 2 tracks in the late models and the sprint cars. There will be some weeks they run the same track in the same week, and some races they will not. For example, going into next week, I know that the late models will be at Knoxville. I can't remember where the sprint cars are going to be off the top of my head. No. The sprint cars are going to be somewhere else.
No, I thought they were going to be at Knoxville. That's the session I looked at. Anyways, we'll figure that out. But either way, qualifying is getting underway here. A couple of new names that we're going to see. See, the late models are at Volusia. We had a bad.
It was me who messed it up for once.
Hey, we'll mark that up, and we'll just say that you were the one that messed it up, indeed. So, got some new names here, got some same names, because we've got Heat Racing, which means that the field is bigger, so cars that would normally be running in Split 2 now have their chance to make their mark here on the iRacing Top Split broadcast. So cars pulling out, they're starting to put in their qualifying times right now. Looks like it is currently Alex Bergeron, no shockers there. I can say I don't see a Tim Ryan out there, so it's a bit unfortunate. We'll see, though, where everyone else lays in. Austin Selman, he counters back with Alex Bergeron, but it doesn't look like it is going to be enough. He has got one more lap. Dylan Sharman, Doug Berryman is here as well. He puts in a good old lap time, so good qualifying times coming in across the board, Randy.
Field very, very close. Everyone who's put in time separated by about 0.4 of a second. You have like Lewis Hewitt, Howard Weaver, and Chase Cabre. We're waiting for them to come through on lap times. Chase Cabre, he just did a 13.6, puts him about mid-pack right now. He's on his second qualifying lap. Lewis Hewitt, he did a 13.4, puts him up to pole.
And there you go, Lewis Hewitt. He takes it out from under the gun of Alex Bergeron. So good running from Lewis Hewitt. We'll take a look at our starting heats when they get sorted out. I almost started going through the starting grid. Oh, my goodness me. You think after running 2 heats I'd get the idea, but we'll see what we go here. We'll see if we get our consolation. We'll see how our heats lay. We'll see how our grid lays. So they are just doing all of the calculations in the top of the box here at Eldora Speedway. Rossburg, Ohio, of course, always pays host. And Randy, the track has low usage, not slight usage, so it looks to me like we should get a pretty worn-in track by the time we get to the feature.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think as Austin or Howard mentioned it, because they added the heat races. You know, typically it was just a little bit of a practice session, qualifying directly into a race for these guys on the third oval. Because we have the heat racing, you're almost doubling the amount of racing that's going on onto that racing surface. So they're starting that racing surface as if it's been worked on and relatively fresh compared to what we saw last season, where we were coming in with some pretty slick tracks. But for heat, things are going to be relatively nice and tacky, so I think we're going to expect to see these winged cars down around the bottom in this sort of situation, Cam.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any surprises here at the start, the first pair of heats, as we're just waiting for them to get packed up and ready to rock and roll. So qualifying just got done. They've put the little snapper thingy where they click it and we're done, and we are ready to rock and roll. Grid 1 ready to rock and roll. It's going to be 9 cars in heat 1, 7 cars in heat number 2. Let's take a look at the starting grid for heat number 1. It's going to be Lewis Hewitt. It's going to be Howard Weaver, Doug Berryman, Chase Cabre. We'll go with that. Bradley Cash, Corey Wetzel, John Batista, Drew Farniars, Ryan Schneit. I don't know how to pronounce that one without it tripping off Hugo's little buzzer there. But either way, Randy, we'll get these cars sorted out and walked away. It's going to be pretty interesting to see here where the transfer number lies and how many cars we get in our consolation. If we get a consolation, we'll all get to run to the feature. Cars rolling on track right now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting here as we have 9 cars, as you said, out on track right now for this heat race. Usually it's only the top 7 who will transfer, but as we have 18, that would only mean 4 drivers don't go in. So we're going to be interesting to see. We were just on the border of that car count for the late model race, and I think we're in a similar situation here, where if there's not enough cars in that B main, I'll call it the B main for this. That's what everyone is going to know it as. We will not get it here. But Lewis Hewitt out front, Howard Weaver on the outside of that front row. Howard was amazing in the late models just a few moments ago, Cam. I think he might be quick here in the sprint as well.
Well, we'll see. Is Lewis Hewitt, he's ready to rock and roll. Howard Weaver, he's sitting outside. Brand new paint scheme on that thing. Gotta say, love that. As the iRacing official pace truck looks to dive to the safety of the Eldora Speedway pit lane. So for Lewis Hewitt, he's ready to rock and roll. When will he go? Sprint cars, they always back off a bit from the safety truck compared to the late models. Here they crowd, here they go. One Mississippi will all it takes, and Lewis Hewitt will send us off to green as we get underway here in the World of Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series.
A good jump there from Lewis Hewitt, getting to the top side. Clean lap number 1 for him. We got a car on the wall upside down. That is going to be Corey Wenzel here in this in this heat race. He is currently sideways out on the racetrack. We stay green as Hewitt is out now, still in the lead, running through 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's running comfortable there, but Howard Weaver, he's searching for the grip. He wants to see if he can use that inside line, and there he goes. He dives to the inside. We'll see what his lap times say. There's 1/10 basically between the two of them, and here comes Howard Weaver. This is going to be our first lap time that comes in. We've got an 8-lap heat for us, and we are on lap 4 of it, so halfway through, and lap time's basically a hair's breadth. We got a great battle between Bradley Cash and John Batista.
John Batista trying to find somehow, some way, but they both run on the top side of the racetrack. Bradley Cash a little bit lower down. Howard Weaver, though, he's been liking the bottom, so I think that's the fight that might really heat up here in the closing laps. It's going to be 3 laps to go next time by. 4 machines to the bottom of the racetrack, but on this tacky surface with all the downforce these cars have, no way you can get side by side just yet. Going to all pretty much be line of stern through heat number 1, almost side by side, a little bit deeper down between Ryan Scheidt and Drew Fairrange, but Drew able to hold on to that 6th spot.
All right, we've got 2 to go across the line. Lewis Hewitt looking pretty good, but here comes Howard Weaver. Will he have a chance? Chase Cabre, he's running 3rd position. He runs low, as well as Weaver, but Bradley Cash, John Batista, he wants to get up into that 4th position, and he'll have the chance to do so. But Lewis Hewitt, he will come across the start-finish line. Here comes Howard Weaver. He's trying to nip, but no, nothing going to be it. He'll finish comfortably in the 2nd position. So it is Weaver, it is Hewitt, it is Weaver, it is Cabre, and it is going to be John Batista in that 4th position. Bradley Cash will finish 5th. Drew Farnes in his 6th. Ryan Scheidt 7th. Doug Berryman in 8th. And Corey Wenzel, he'll have to go all the way down to heat number 2. We'll start our 2nd heat. However, the cars are going to start rolling themselves out onto the pacing, the pit lane, I guess I should say. Alex Bergeron will be leading the 2nd heat. Here as no surprise there. Austin Selman, however, they are now finding themselves in the same split, so great battle and looking ahead as Dylan Sharman, Rocky Battenfield, Preston Perlmutter, Josh Michael Moore, Joe Quinn, Joe Letterillo, who's pulling the triple, Gavin Manning, and then Gavin Manning. That's so 9 cars here on the grid. Randy, looks it's good. We get a multiple of races here.
Yeah, and question's going to be how much do those Team VLR teammates of Bergeron and Semmelman, we know that they're teammates, how much will they fight in this heat race, especially with behind Dylan Sharman, ERT driver, a little bit of a wild card, not someone we're used to typically seeing out there. Actually, it might be a TTL driver. I might have just committed Australian sim racing heresy. Actually, it might be on a different team entirely, not sure. But Dylan out there, it's going to be interesting to see what Dylan does as he rolls out onto the racetrack, because we've not seen him in our Friday night broadcast cam. We've seen some of the other Aussies. We've seen Dylan Sharman on RaceSpot TV before. Used to be known for his hijinks in the Cadillac. A very, very talented driver there. Also a very, very talented GT driver, endurance driver. I've seen Dylan Sharman wheel pretty much anything, and he's a hot foot in the sprints too. I think he's one to look out for if he can get close to the VLR teammates out front.
We also have one of the late model drivers, Rocky Battenfield, in here. Josh Michael Moore, I see, and of course Joe Lorello, who's pulling that triple. So we'll get ready to go green, as it is basically a normal show here as far as the race lineup goes, plus a couple of specials. Tim Ryan, he's out visiting family. Hello, Tim. So hope you enjoy the broadcast at the very least. We'll hopefully see you next week. But for Alex Bergeron, he looks to start this race from a fairly safe distance. We don't have to pull out the binoculars from the rear of the safety truck, but we're darn near close, as Alex Bergeron is ready to rock and roll. There he goes the moment he gets the chance to, as one car is going to stay on the safety of pit lane, here comes Dylan Sharman immediately trying to pull ahead to Austin Sullivan. So very close, the Nerf bars make contact, and Austin Sullivan, he'll stay high. Dylan Sharman stays low.
An aggressive move there for Sharman in a race that is just making up. The starting grid for the feature is Semmelman. He's going to throw a big slider on Sharman back, and he gets it done a little bit more cleanly, but Sharman able to get the drive down underneath, and all the while we have a lap car of Gavin Manning. He gets in the way just a little bit. Semmelman held up behind Sharman now. No way he can go to the bottom with Manning there in the way, and they're trying to get themselves through. That lap car needs to sort of get his way clear and out of the groove here, as Bergeron pretty much got a nice little gap thanks to that number 15.
Well, I think the problem is that Gavin Manning might have had an impression about starting from pit lane, perhaps trying to be safe, but unfortunately, starting from pit lane is basically conceding the race. So you got to really start from the grid, period. It's just how it goes. There's a couple of cars making contact, Rocky Brittenfield and Preston Perlmutter, as they'll go almost 3 wide with Josh Michael Moore. Laps are clicking away here at Eldora.
Laps continue to click away here. That 13 machine gets into Gavin Manning. They're going to be 3 wide off the corner. 14 gets into this one as well. This lap car is causing huge issues, Cam. After starting from pit road, they're almost 4 wide behind. He tries to get out of the way, gets clipped. He's upside down into corner number 1.
Well, either way, we've got 2 to go here, and the battle for second position is on. As Austin Semmelman wants some action, as Dylan Sharman. These guys are filling each other out right now as far as this duel goes. Here comes Semmelman. He wants the outside line. Dylan Sharman is going through, and here comes Alex Bergeron as they make contact between Semmelman and it will end up going to Bergeron. No problems there, but a little bit of racing contact there. Before we get to the feature race, it's Austin Semmelman. We'll see if that doesn't spark anything. But Dylan Sharman, he'll finish 3rd. Preston Perlmutter in 4th. Rocky Brittenfield will finish 5th. Joe Quinn, Joe Latorello, Josh Michael Moore, and then Gavin Manning, that car that started from pit lane. Well, unfortunately, bud, you can't do that. Let's get to the starting grid as we're going to roll out all of the cars here for the feature 30 laps. It is going to be 18 cars, largest field we have ever seen here at Eldora under the lights. It's Lewis Hewitt. He'll start pole with Alex Bergeron alongside him. Howard Weaver, Austin Sullivan, Chase Cabre, Dylan Sharman, John Batista, Preston Perlmutter, Bradley Cash, Rocky Battenfield, Drew Barnes, Joe Quinn, Ryan Scheidt, Joe Latorello, Doug Berryman, Josh Michael Moore, Corey Wenzel, and then Gavin Manning. So we'll see how this all goes. Hopefully Gavin takes the grid, because if he comes out once again, that's going to cause some problems. But Randy, we've got the fireworks off.
Yeah, fireworks going off, and we had fireworks in that second heat. Like you said, hopefully Gavin Manning takes the start of this race and decides not to. Hopefully he stays out of the way, because that was a little bit silly, I must say. But Lewis Hewitt, what can he do up there? We've seen that number 6 machine, that Fear the Roo car, a few times out in front leading races, but we know, Cam, that they're a group that tends to underfield their cars, and there's been a couple times where some of the runners have been short, and have seen some of those Fear the Roo machines, if the race goes green, and come down on pit lane relatively clean through the first couple of heats. Does Lewis Hewitt have the fuel if we go green?
I hope so. I hope they've learned their lesson, because that would ruin it. But either way, we'll see.
Well, they've done it for 2 or 3 seasons, so.
But the fireworks, absolutely beautiful, by the way. I wish that, why are we sending them off now? We should send them off after the race as well.
You're hyping at the start of the race, Kim. Come on.
I'm just saying. But either way, the iRacing official pace truck, after running 2 pace laps, 2. That's 2. I'm holding up 2 fingers. He will go to the safety of pit lane. Cars are stacking and packing right now. Track has not worn in at all. Really, there's a little bit of wear in the entries, but other than that, we should have a fairly decent racing surface to start. So for Lewis Hewitt, he's ready to rock and roll here. The high side is going to the very high side, and here we go. 1 Mississippi, and that's all we got. Lewis Hewitt, he runs us to the green. World Outlaws Craftsman Sprint Car Series, first time, 2018, Season 1.
Through corner number 1, and Lewis Hewitt gets a nice, clean jump here. They come on the front straight. Alex Bergeron through the big slider, makes contact. That was a little bit silly from Bergeron. No way he was going to get clear, and now he falls into the clutches of the likes of Weaver as well as Semmelman. Chase Cabra, he's back there as well. Alex trying to be really aggressive, but again, no dice just yet.
And we have a yellow out on the track. Multiple cars involved, at least 3. And I think Dylan Sharman is involved in this one, unfortunately, as I see what has happened now. It looks to me like Bradley Catch just pulled up a little bit of a slider on Dylan Sharman. He had to woe up, so he really threw he put the brake on, really to go throw it into the corner. Preston Perlmutter was not ready for that. Neither was Rocky Battenfield. And once they started wrecking, they collected Ryan Scheidt. Well, that's 3 or 4 cars just like that are going to be retired and going to the pits. And out of the race, they'll go into the pits. So that's Scheidt, that's Perlmutter, and that is Sharman. So 3 top runners. We were expecting Sharman to have a good night. Unfortunately, just not looked like it's going to be here at the cards here at Eldora.
Yeah, unfortunate for Dylan there for sure. Not much he could do. Had that slow car in front of him, had to check up, and he got all sorts of sideways, and driver behind him, really not much they could do either. Just ended up in the back of him. That's a tough turn there for Mr. Sharman to that 8 machine. Hopefully we see him out there in these sprint cars again at some point.
Yeah, hopefully indeed. So we'll see what will happen with that. But the lights are off on the pace truck once again, and we will have Lewis Hewitt. We'll see what he does in that number 6 machine, so he had a pretty good run there. And Bergeron, he held up the attacks from Bergeron. We'll see what happens here as Alex Bergeron. He was super aggressive. He really wanted to get some of that action as he'll go once again after a slight delay. So Lewis Hewitt takes us to the green one more time. Lap number 6 tipped away of this 30-lap feature, and we are green again.
Selman is wheel to wheel with Alex Bergeron. You see Selman going down to the bottom. Will he get clear? No, he won't. And he stays a little bit more away from his teammate. They're 2x2 though behind. They both go to the low line in towards 1 and 2. That was Weaver and Cabre. A little bit of contact to machine. He's around facing the wrong way, and I'd be very surprised if another couple cars don't get collected. Doug Berryman got a piece of that, as well as a white car up in the wall. That's Josh Mickelmore. Wrong place, wrong time for him as well. So we had 1 yellow in 56 laps of racing, Cam, in the late models, and we've had 2 yellows in 7 laps of racing in the sprint car.
Well, to be fair, they threw the yellow out, but I would have thought that everyone would have been able to continue. Oh, you know what? It was for Gavin Manning. That's what the yellow was for, because he had I think he had taken himself out on the inside wall, and he parked the car to the outside line before starting again. So Gavin Manning is out.
No, that happened after. Josh Mickelmore was stopped up on the wall.
Okay, so it was okay. But either way, so we'll get ourselves turned back around here. We'll sort it all out. I think everyone's continuing from that. So as Michael Moore is still out, Cabaret is still out, and Berryman is still out. So it just pushes him back slightly. We'll see how this goes. However, Bergeron, I think he's starting to realize, I've got to get on it. I've got to attack. Everyone should have fuel, however, Randy, so we don't have that to worry about.
Yeah, everyone should be good on the gas here for this 30-lap feature, considering the amount of cautions we've had. And, well, lights on that iRacing safety truck should be going out this time through, and indeed they do, so we're going to stack them back up. And let's see what can happen. Can we finally get ourselves a bit of a green flag run here? The grids are bigger than anything we've seen in the world of Outlaws, even with the features and B mains. We're carrying all these cars, 18 cars, up from, I believe, 12 is what we saw last season, now running in these big 30-lap events. Let's see how many of them will make it to the end. We've already lost a few.
Yep, I mean, we've still got a very large field out there. Let's be real here. No joke. But either way, the pace track will go to the safety of pit lane. Lewis Hewitt will pull us once again to the start. And so for Lewis Hewitt, this is now 3 restarts he's had to run. But it's Bergeron, it's Semmelman. Semmelman, he wants to get a piece of the action on Bergeron. Here comes Howard Weaver, Bradley Cash, and John Batista. He's running the outside line.
Bergeron had the race lead for the moment, but Lewis Hewitt drove to the bottom, got it back. Bergeron not able to carry the momentum into 1, and he will not even pull side by side with Hewitt. Car upside down on the back straightaway into corner number 1. That was, actually not sure who that was. Yeah, that was John Batista. He still rolls, and that car looks bent. He should be able to get that down on pit lane without bringing out a yellow.
All right, let's hope so. No, rear axle's completely dislocated. There you go.
Oh, race lead. Hewitt and Bergeron, sorry. They were close, and they just made contact fighting for that race lead. Semmelman's in the picture, as well as Howard Weaver. He just podiumed in the late model race. Can Weaver go 2 for 2? We've got a car solo Winston in 3 and 4. Ted Machine. That's going to bring out a caution for sure, as Bradley Cash stopped down on the inside of the racetrack. Huge contact with the inside wall.
How on earth did he not hit anyone else? He literally went through, okay, so we made contact with Joe Quinn's Nerf bar. Outside of that, nothing hit. That's crazy. But for Bradley Cash, I gotta say, unfortunate, certainly, his rear axle is broken, and I think that's something new with this latest update, is drivers are talking about how much more that rear axle will snap off now. It's not like it used to be where they were able to really kind of pancake that outside wall, perhaps giving them a false sense of security. But for I was worried that John Batista was going to pull out a caution, but no, he managed to get off the track, and I got to say that was great to see us to continue to go green. But unfortunately, then immediately having that incident, it is so easy, Randy, to hit that inside wall here at Eldora.
Yeah, it's a relatively easy mistake to make, but I think one thing, Cam, you got to remember how slowly this track developed in that late model race, and that was 40 laps of green flag racing. I think we're going to see this track, as we're coming up on 10 to go, we're pretty much, I don't think that top line is going to go away at all. I don't think we're going to see anyone opt for the bottom, so if you're going to make a move on Lewis Hewitt, it's going to have to be some form of a slider, which you've already seen really don't stick that often.
Yeah, it's probably why Alex Bergeron's being so aggressive. I know the YouTube chat's getting a little frosty, I gotta say. Lights go out on the pace track, but Probably why, because he realizes the only chance I'm going to get is trying to be aggressive here. He'll let Lewis Hewitt go to the front once again. So Hewitt now, for what will be the 4th time, is going to be bringing us to a green flag. 3 restarts, 1 green, as we're on lap 18 of 30, and already we're passing the 7-minute mark here in the feature, which means that we're fairly long in the tooth already. Let's see how we go, though. Lewis Hewitt, he'll pull the car away. Alex Bergeron, a great start on the outside. He actually has the speed, but he taps the outside wall, so anything he's got has been scrubbed off. But here comes Bergeron. He's on the inside. We're green here at Eldora. He might have it.
But can Lewis get the run down to the inside? He even carries huge amounts of momentum. And Selman's in the picture as well. So the bottom, you can roll down the bank and carry a lot of speed. Bergeron, can he get to the inside of Hewitt? Yes, he will. Selman, once he got running in that 3rd spot, Bergeron pushes up the racetrack. Lewis turns it down to the inside. Selman also goes to the inside of his teammate. He wants that 2nd spot as he keeps it down there, though. Bergeron gets in the back of Lewitt and bounces off his teammate of Selman. Austin is now in 2nd. How can he reel in that number 6 machine of Lewis Hewitt inside of 10 laps to go?
That contact has allowed the car of Howard Weaver to enter the picture, as well as Rocky Battenfield. So Bergeron, not what he wanted, but it is all in the clutches of Austin Selman. He takes the victory in the late models. He wants to take the victory in the sprint cars. Can he do that? We're on lap 23 of 30. Cars are spaced out enough that we should have a green to the finish. Howard Weaver, he's trying on Alex Bergeron. Austin Selman, his lap times, though, coming in. He ran a slightly faster lap time than Lewis Hewitt.
Lewis Hewitt pushing as hard as he can. Austin Selman pushing as hard as he can. Austin was slightly quicker last time through. What happens now as they go in towards corner number 1? 6 laps on the board. Everyone stays to the top as they work themselves off of 2 and down the back straightaway. Now Selman will look to the bottom to throw the slider into 3 and 4. He just gets clear, but Lewis able to cut it back down to the inside, and he needs to be careful, Selman, because Bergeron there and lurking. 5 laps to go.
That was absolutely sensational from that attempt, because Lewis Hewitt saw it and he pinned it as soon as he held up, and that was a great counter from Lewis Hewitt. But can he do it again? As here comes Austin Selman. He sees him coming a mile away this time. Selman had to back way out, and that allows Bergeron out of the picture. No, as Selman, he's going to stay on the high side now. I think he's had his try, as we are going to be running to the green to the finish here. 30 laps to go.
3 laps to go, and Selman works the bottom. Bergeron, he gets a run. He's door to door with his teammate into 3 and 4. Bergeron going to be aggressive, pull side by side with Lewis Hewitt, and because of that little shuffle, I think that's going to give Lewis Hewitt this race. 2 laps to go, but no. Austin Selman works the momentum on the top. White flag next time.
The Australian, he's looking to take a victory here in that number 6 machine. Austin Selman, however, the Midwest man, he's looking to take it as well. And here he goes, Howard Weaver. He got into the outside wall with that Nerf bar, but Selman way overdrove the corner. And that allows Lewis Hewitt to pull away. White flag is in the air. The checkered flag comes out. Lewis Hewitt, he will take the victory here at Eldora Speedway from Rossburg, Ohio. Austin Selman will finish in 2nd, and Alex Bergeron will finish in 3rd. That is the finish that we were looking for, Randy. That was sensational.
Well, what a run it was from Lewis Hewitt. Got fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying for his heat. Won the feature here tonight. First night on RaceSpot Friday Dirt Night in the World of Outlaws with this new format, and he's going to take victory. And that number 6 machine, he seems like a happy camper as he comes on towards the front straightaway.
Absolutely. So that number 6 machine, well, he missed the pit lane, so he can't get up on the starter's box.
He must not do this very much. And
oh, he's trying. You know, I was going to say he's trying to throw the car over the cage. No.
Yeah, he tried to ollie it up there in the victory lane.
No, with that, so we only have jumps in GRC. But either way, let's take a look at the results. Hugo will get the music back up, and oh my goodness me, that was a great run. I'm so happy that we were able to finish that under green. Great racing. Lewis Hewitt will come home in the 1st position. Austin Selman will come home in 2nd. Alex Bergeron will come home 3rd. Howard Weaver in 4th. Rocky Battenfield, good running. He'll come home in 5th. Joe Quinn in 6th. Corey Wenzel 7th. Drew Farinars in the what will be the 8th position. Joe Latorello, he had, well, unfortunately, a quiet night. We had so much action up front. We never even really got to talk about the mid-pack battles, unfortunately. Joe Latorello, he'll finish the night in 9th. Chase Cabre in 10th. Doug Berryman in 11th, Josh Michaelmore in 12th, and then you get to the retirees. Preston Perlmutter, he'll finish 13th. Bradley Cash will finish in 14th after a hard lick in the outside wall. John Batista will finish 15th. Gavin Manning 16th. Ryan Knight in 17th, and Dylan Sharman will finish 18th position. Randy, obviously, I think Dylan Sharman has the speed, but it just didn't come together today here at Eldora.
No, it didn't. It'll be interesting to see if Dylan is, able to maintain the I rating because they did add dirt oval and dirt road, and the I ratings are all kind of shuffled about right now because of that. So we're seeing some guys that we didn't see. And some guys we're used to seeing, of course, didn't turn up. But I want to see Dylan turn up some more. Hopefully that number 8 machine can be good.
All right, well, we've got some drivers to interview, and we will start with Austin Semmelman, and we'll see if we can get Howard Weaver up in here. But either way, we'll get Austin Semmelman up here to start, and we've got Alex Bergeron on the docket as well. So somebody open we'll let him get out of the race car. How about that? But for Austin Semmelman, there we go. So Austin Semmelman, I mean, it's been so long since we've talked to you last, but either way, 410 wing sprint car, right back into the throes of it, and you managed to come home in second position. Take me through your night here at Eldora.
It actually has been so long because Howard's interview was so long, so it really was. But
whoa, time, man.
No, it was a good night. I badly wanted that one. I gave it everything I had at Lewis. I just couldn't make it stick. So I felt like I was a little bit quicker, but just couldn't get it done there. But at least we didn't end up wadding it up. So it was a fun race and pretty good night.
After that batch of cautions that we had through the middle section of this race, the track never really came in on its own. Perhaps they can throw the track, let it be a little bit more worn in going later in the season, because I think that we wanted the track to develop a little more, and it just didn't seem to happen.
It was super weird because there was some grip like in the middle and the bottom. It actually got like the late model race was at the end. The top was hairy, man. You had to, if you missed it by an inch, you're in the wall, and it was fast if you hit it right, but really hard to run. But I just wanted to get in there, but I just couldn't make the slider stick. But we'll try again next time.
Yeah, next time indeed we're going to be heading to Knoxville. Late models will be going to Volusia, so you're going to have to pull double duty, figure out a way to get from Volusia to Knoxville in a snap. But either way, it looks to me like we're setting ourselves up for a good season. Plenty of new names. I mean, guys who are normally in Split 2, you only have 10, 12 positions for Split 1. Now we've got this heat racing format, plenty more cars. It's a larger field. We had 18 at the start. Obviously, we didn't finish 18. But hopefully, as far as this season goes, the sprint racing looks like it's going to be pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great season for every car. I think really. I mean, it was a good race tonight, and I think moving forward, these tracks and the new cars will prove to be really exciting for everybody to watch.
Yeah, and well, either way, we'll do it again. How about that? Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or thanks before we let you go for the final time tonight?
Yeah, Dirt Division had a new car tonight, so for the season. So Matt Hill, shout out to him for painting it and making it look really cool. And RacingIn.com and Team VLR, the guys, So one spot short tonight, but we'll try again next time.
All right, we'll catch you in 1 week's time. So Austin, thank you so much for hopping in the booth with us, and you have a good night.
You too, guys. Thanks a lot for doing this.
Of course, our pleasure. I got to say, much more work than normal, Randy. But either way, you are going to be standing by with the one Mr. Alex Bergeron.
Yeah, I'm stood by with Alex. Won the championship last season in these winged 410 sprint cars, and new build is out, Alex. And has anything really changed much, or pretty much everything in the sprint cars stay the same?
The driving side is pretty different. We kind of need to wheel more a little bit, but yeah, it's kind of different from last season, and I like that. So as well, I hope everybody else like that as well. So yeah.
You're sort of one of the sprint car aces here on the iRacing service. We have the new track in Knoxville that's come out. I'm sure you've done some laps around it. How does it compare to the tracks we've had? Is it more of a topside racetrack? Can you work the bottom? Which track do we have on the service would you compare it to, or is it sort of unique in its own world? How do you got to attack that place?
I think it's very unique, especially for the turn 4 on the bottom, where that's where you gain the most time out of it. It's pretty unique, I'd say. You can run a top to bottom depending on what the track is, the track state is. So I love it. I raced it a lot last week in the 13-week Winter Nationals. I think I won the championship, and pretty happy with that. And the new dirt license as well. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, hopefully it's gonna go well all season long.
Well, thanks for joining us, Alex. Congratulations on that second place run. What a race it was for you, fighting with your teammate Austin Selman as well as Lewis. Third place. Third place. I'm getting confused here. I'm feeling like Cam. But congrats on P3. I'm sure you'll like getting bumped up by me. Before we let you go, any shout outs who'd you like to thank?
First off, just a little about the race. We had the fastest lap of the race, but me and my teammate, we tried everything on Lewis and a bunch of sliders. I need to apologize to Lewis. It was kind of hard racing there, and I want to apologize. But fastest lap of the race in third place. Hopefully we'll be second in championship now, or we'll still be in first place after a couple of races this week. We'll see. But yep, so third place tonight, and thanks to the Drill Spill Racing and Mirror Inc., Motorsport 88, Dirt Car Racing. Go check them out on Facebook, Team VLR as well. And yeah, see you next week.
Thanks for joining us again, Alex. Cam, moving it back over to you. I believe you're stood by with Mr. Howard Weaver.
Yeah, I've been running through all of the pits yelling for interviews, but either way, we've got Howard Weaver. Howard finishing in the 4th position after starting on 3rd. So much more happened, though. We've got heat racing. We skipped the Connie, and we went right to the feature with 18 cars, more cars than we've ever had.
I don't think Michael was
here at Eldora. Who? What? What do you mean?
Michael. You said you skipped the Connie.
Oh, Michael. Yeah, well, we did skip Michael Connie. He's not here.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Come on now.
I was like, is this the Peak Antifreeze series? I showed up to the wrong server again.
No, that's fine. Well, hey, if you finished 4th in the Peak Antifreeze series, I think you'd be a very happy man. But no, it's the World of Outlaws Craftsman sprint cars. But either way, good run in there. You're kind of we're 2.5 seconds off, but still 4th position. Not a bad night.
Yeah, I was way off, but anytime I can finish top 5 in sprint cars, I'm pretty happy. I need to apologize for a sensitive comment I made after the late model interview, in case I offended anyone.
That'll be a $5,000 fine.
Well, $5,100, because we get the 100. But either way, no, you're fine. You're fine. But
thank you.
Yeah, no, just kind of take me through the night.
There wasn't a lot of excitement from my side. I was nearly wrecking every lap trying to watch the leaders up there. That looked like fun, Alex and Lewis and Austin. But yeah, I gotta apologize though to Chase Cabre, because I got loose off turn 2 and came right down into him and spun him, I think. So I apologize to him already. But yeah, I feel bad for that. He's a good guy to race with and always races clean. But yeah, I probably should have practiced more this week in the sprint cars.
Yeah, and well, either way, I gotta say first off, I gotta say I don't think Hugo has the paints, because he was using the old stuff. But I gotta say your car is looking very fantastic. That VLR car. Does that say Team Friday on the side?
Yeah, they're the sponsor of the VLR modified and sprint car series right now, and so anyone who uses them as a sponsor can win some cool prizes at the end of the year. So I have them on there. Basically, I'm leading the modified points in like 2nd or 3rd behind Alex in the sprint cars, so I got that on there so I can hopefully win a prize, even though I probably won't win the championship. So yeah, looks cool. Dirt Division painted it, so thanks to Matt Hill and those guys.
Yeah, and well, either way, thank you so very much for hopping in the booth with us. Congrats on the 4th, and we'll see you at Knoxville.
Yep, thank you, and sorry for the really long interviews.
It's fine, it's fine. It's Friday night. It's not like Mondays where we all have work in the morning.
Yeah, I don't have to be up till 3 o'clock.
So it's either way, thank you. And Randy, we've got Rocky Battenfield. So Howard, thanks so much. We'll see you at both Volusia and Knoxville in 1 week's time. You take care.
Yep, thank you. I'm a Rocky maniac.
Either way.
Howard is memeing too hard.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Rocky Battenfield. Hello, first off. I don't think I've ever met you before, so hello. But second off, good. We'll you know what? We'll just hand this off to Randy. How about that? He should interview.
Okay, well, this got off to this is just
it's a great start
to start with. Rocky, you finished 5th, started 10th. How was your feature?
Features was good. I think Howard just got you guys a little off track here. No, I got to watch some good wrecks. That helped a lot. But I had a good car, man. I got to thank Austin. He sent me a great setup for the race, and VLR. I mean, 4 of the top 5 guys. I mean, it was a good night.
And how are you liking this heat racing format? Something I noticed, you know, because us doing the 3 races, the late models and the sprint cars, seems like they have a lot of cars that transfer from the heats, and the consolation races end up getting skipped a lot. You think it's a good thing, or do you think we'd be better off if we maybe upped the car count and got that B main every single time through?
Personally, I'd like to see about 30 cars in it and run 3 heats and get it going that way.
Well, I would be in favor of that as well, so hopefully that can be something. But I'm just happy that we're up to 18 cars, at least in the feature, as opposed to what we were before. But, Rocky, you had a good run in the modified as well, or excuse me, in the late models as well. Don't think we got a chance to talk to you there. How did that run go?
It went good. Late models, I struggled with those for a long time, and I'm finally getting the hang of them and can be somewhat competitive. Them top guys, I can't do anything with them, but I want to thank you guys for putting the late models back on, and these rally cars. They're a blast to watch. I was hoping to race those too, but I wasn't quite good enough to make that one.
Well, we definitely enjoyed it. Although, well, the late models were sort of, thankfully, at a nice split. There's only a couple series that fit in there. Well, late models had heat racing, the other one didn't. But Rocky, congrats again. Hopefully we can see you run strong here in some upcoming weeks. Before we let you go, any shout outs? Who'd you like to thank? Who gets it done?
I'd like to thank Jim Emery, first of all, for painting my skin for me. Done a great job. Also VLR, best guys in the world there. Really good team, great league. I mean, you make the feature there and you're a monster. So just like to thank you guys too for putting this on for us.
Thanks, Rocky. Good to see you next week at Volusia and in Knoxville.
Yes, sir.
Cam, back over to you to close things out.
Well, it has been a night of nights. You would think it was a special event. You know, we had a great running of the presentation of the Global Rallycross, and then we got to show off a late model special before finishing it off with our normal World of Outlaws Craftsman sprint cars. But you know what, though? We get this every single week here on iRacingLive and RaceSpot TV. It is only going to get better. The cars are only going to get faster. The drivers are only going to get better as we bring heat racing and more to the iRacing service, and we've introduced it with a bang here at Eldora and here at Daytona. And I gotta say, Hugo, start queuing up that music because the day is gonna be done. And I just want to thank you all for watching us. I know it's been a bit of a longer broadcast, but hopefully it has been good for you. Congratulations to the Australian, Lewis Hewitt, for taking the victory in the sprint cars, Austin Semmelman in the late model cars, and then, of course, Mitchell de Jong in the global rally cars. And I gotta say, it's been a fantastic night. You're gonna get this every single week, and we hope that it only gets better and bigger from here. So for Randy Chenowth, for myself, Cam Walsh, for Hugo Louis, and everyone else that makes this production work, we appreciate everything that you guys have done for us, and we hope to bring even more to you. So from Eldora Speedway, it's going to be us signing off. Good night.